Boost Motion, guys, and today we're only doing this intro like this because this is a live. So just hang in there. I'm waiting for a couple of people to tap in with me because they're just getting a notification. So then, guys, until then, just watch the intro and
Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you.
welcome everybody back. Welcome everybody back to the channel. First thing, mic check 1 2 1 2. I already made sure everything should be very clear. I'm gonna tap in with you guys on a late night on a Thursday because it's a new month and I didn't do it, so I don't want to be terrible. So first thing, shout out to the whole Boost in Motion family. If you are tapped in right now, please already hit that like button. Please, I really would appreciate it. And if you are new to this channel, definitely this is the live section, so you guys can actually ask me questions. Even though a lot of my videos they upload as if they're a scheduled video or that I'm live. Usually that's because it's easier to upload videos and you guys get the notifications. But videos like this, you can tap in the comments and I'm gonna ask you guys, answer you guys questions for about usually I say an hour, but then I end up being an hour and a half, 2 hours. People tap out and they tap back in like, "Boosh, you still going?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm answering these questions." So if you guys got any questions, definitely write it in the comments. But until then, let me just double check to make sure everything is okay on my end. For the comment section because sometimes the software that I'm using is a little bit weird. All right, give me a second. I just want to put that on mute. All right, what's going on? What's going on, Ian? What's going on, man? Happy Thursday. I may sound like I'm a little under the weather because I actually am. Had a cold earlier this week, so I might sound a little bit weird. All right, but hopefully, let's get these comments start rolling in, and I'm gonna help you guys out the best way that I can, man. All right, Lewis, what's going on, Lewis? What's going on, man? What's up? I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I'm a little bit. I'm getting over a cold or whatever is going around again. Whatever's going on in this world, but I'm all right. Bags or coils? I've definitely in the past. I'm a coil person. I've been rocking coils ever since I was 17 on all my cars, exception of the C63 because it's already kind of low and whatever. The suspension is pretty good, but coilovers over bags. That's just me because personally, I like the idea that I know what's going. I installed it myself. I set the comfort how I want it set up. I set the level, and I could dial it in to where I want. Bags do give you that convenience too because once they're installed, not leaking anything like that, you just you could set it where you want it to go based on the amount of psi, and or you can still adjust it kind of the same way with bags. It's just that I don't know. I guess coilovers are cheaper because bags there's just like $2, $3, $4,000 for a good system, and even then once everything is in, I just hmm, my opinion, I see the cons with bags is when something goes wrong and you don't really know much about air systems, it could be expensive. It could cause you downtime. I've known people in New York City where they have bags. The car is reliable, no issue. But then once it get cold outside in the winter, I think it's the vac. There's a check valve will get a lot of moisture will back up in there, and then boom, it freezes. So now you're aired out, and you can start the car, but it's just not going to air up. So things like that, or some people had oh my god, some people I know had little tiny holes, the tiniest hole on the bag system, because I guess they drive and whatever rock they hit or debris just tiny pierced it. I just never really liked that idea, but that's just my opinion though. Shavy, what's going on, man? What's up? What's up? Henry, what's going on, man? What's going on? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to put y'all stuff on the screen. Everything's going well, man. I appreciate you. I have some questions for tonight, brother. No problem. I'm here to answer your questions. Okay, I got one. I'm getting a Q60, and I'm not sure what to get. A Lex Premium Red Sport. Plan on doing some mods with race box. Gonna try to run sevens in the eighth mile. Yeah, that's dead. You can run sevens in the eighth mile. It's not even that hard. My honest opinion, because I used to have a Q60. Well, if you guys don't know, it was a 3.0 T Sport. There's nothing wrong with a Lux or Premium or whatever or Red Sport. Like they're all different. I get it. But I really like the 3.0 T Sport because it was only made up until a certain year. I think after 2019, they don't even make like a 3.0 T Sport. I think it's after 2019. Someone could comment in the comments, double check me. But after a certain year, they didn't make that specific trim level. But if you can get all the options of a red sport, like the 3.0 T Sport, just that it's not a red sport, that's really the one that I love the most. Anything past that, let's say after 2019, 2020, when they changed over, what would I recommend? A premium red sport? It's really up to you. Some of the standard tech, some people don't care for, like lane keep assist and uh, the brake distance thing, intelligent cruise control. Some people don't really care for that. So then you could just get a Lux without those specific things. Or if you do care about that stuff, then you get a premium with those specific options. The only thing that what I really want to say about the Q60 that sucks is there's really no sport seats. It's supposed to be a touring vehicle, right? If you got a Q50, you have sport seats and you have regular like premium seats, right? The Q60 is it's the same seats regardless. They never give you an actual proper sports seats. That's the thing that I dislike about it. And I don't know why Infinity didn't give you sports seats for the Q60. But nonetheless, my recommendation, if it's under 2019, 3.0 T Sport, because you get all the same standard features, sport features that you get on a red sport, it's just that you wouldn't have to pay that little extra money for a red sport. But then I'm gonna finalize this question too, which is super weird. Depending on the year you get to, it doesn't really matter. If you can get a 2017 Red Sport for the price of like a 2019 3.0 T Sport because the mileage is a little higher, then just jump into the Red Sport. If the Red Sport is a little bit more affordable or about the same price, but the year is a little bit older, I would still consider it because the freaking Q60s never really changed body. Like I don't remember ever seeing a different change in bumper or interior look or anything. Literally. Uh Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm a little under the weather, guys. Bear with me. You could hear it. But for performance, currently have coilovers. Yeah, so if you want to do you can also add bags over coilovers. A lot of people ended up doing that too. Like if you have coilovers, then they go with like the specific kits out there that you can put bags over coilovers, which so that you don't have to spend extra money for a whole coilover kit if you choose to do so. A couple people have done that. I think it's called UAS bags, UAS bags. You could just easily Google it, but it's pretty common that a lot of people do. Do you recommend Z1 big rotors or power stop? I'm not too positive. So, what do you mean, like the replacement rotors, like the sport rotors, or because you said power stop? Power stop makes the replica calipers, but they also sell the sport rotors too. So, you're saying big calipers or big rotors? Tap in, let me know. No problem. Red Sport, Get it. Yep. People already tapping in. This is why I like this community because it's very helpful. A lot of people are very helpful in this community. 3.7 or shit. All right, so skirt. I'm gonna answer this question. 3.7. Which one's better for a daily with light mods? Um, if you're gonna use this car every day and you're racking up a huge amount of miles, like a lot, and you really want reliability to be the top thing, 3.7. You can get a 3.7, throw some test pipes or high flow cats or CATBACK exhaust and get a tune, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And the car is gonna be reliable. Just change the oil, change the brakes. Really, no issues. If you get a 3.0 T Sport, yeah, you could daily drive the cars. It's part of traffic too. It's just that if you're driving it every day and over time, and I don't know how much miles you're racking up. Remember, this is a turbo vehicle, so the more as much as you want to be preventative, use preventative maintenance, it's still a turbo vehicle, so things will break down over time. You can run into issues over longevity of the ownership. 3.7 will always outlast 3.0T. Hey, I have a Q50 RS. What mods would you recommend to run E30? Okay, appreciate you for tapping in. I have a couple videos on that stuff, a lot actually, on running E30. But simple thing to run E30 tuned, like fully tuned properly. You need a flex fuel kit because you're gonna need to know the type of the percentage of flex of E85 that you have within the specific gas station or in your fuel tank. You're going to need a tune, of course, by shout out to, if I don't have the shirt up, usually I'm supposed to, I got to end up putting the hat up, but Race Box, but they're all good. They're all other good. Shut up, Kevin. There's also good tuners out there, but Racebox is the one who's part of the channel. You're also going to need a low pressure fuel pump. This is the one that you run in the intake, and that should be it. Yeah, flex fuel kit, low pressure fuel pump, and a tune. That's it. That's usually the requirements. What brakes rotors do you recommend for a base Q50? Really, what's going on, man? I'm more on the sports side, but I'm gonna just say two brands. Ecobono still makes an upgraded brake pad. I think it's called Ecobono Pro Act. It's more like a ceramic pad or semi-metallic pad. I forgot the full name of it, but not the OEM brand. It's like Ecobono Pro Act. Forgot the last premium. I forgot, but that pad's really good for daily driving, and it was really good pad. But when you're talking about like doing full pulls, in Mexico, doing 100, 13, 14 miles an hour, if you know what I mean, and you want to come back down to 60, I'm going to recommend a Hawk 5.0 pad. Now, if you went on Hawk's site and you look for these pads, the first thing, they're about $70 to $80 a pair, so they're expensive. But if you went on their site, they wouldn't even say that they make pads for the Q50 for the non-sports. Reason being is because for some reason they didn't double check that you use the same calipers on the 370Z and the G37. So what you do is you get the non-sport brake pads for the 370Z or the G37, and those are the same partner that's also used on the Q50 non-sport. Those brake pads, a lot of people I recommended, and when they purchased them, they said, "Boost, thank you." This is if you do very spirited driving. They don't squeak. They do have some dust, but they're gonna make sure you're gonna stop. And I'm talking about consistently. I like Hawk pads. I'm not gonna lie. Trying to get a decent one for about 30K or less. Okay, yeah, you could definitely, but be careful with I know in Florida, y'all guys be dealing with some flood cars or cars that have either been stolen, flooded, stolen, flooded, or maybe even accidents. So just be careful because I know people be washing titles down there. James, what's going on? Much love, James. Much love, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for tapping in, James. Dealership offering 20 over KBB value on my. Wow, they're still doing this shit. I'm at 45K and it's been a solid for me. Nonetheless, okay. No way. Henry, that's insane. Remember, I sold my car back in May, June, and people been telling me that the prices are still going back up on these cars. And I'm just like, how? I guess because people don't want to buy cars right now because they're expensive. And then people who have the cars are still like, well, if I sell my car, I'm gonna hop into another expensive car because that price is up. So I guess it's kind of making the market still weird. And Q50s are still technically expensive. It's really up to you if you want to sell it, man. What car would you get next? You see what I'm saying? If this is a car that you can sell and wait maybe 3 to 6 months, maybe 3 months, because honestly, winter may not be like that. The winter may be a little better because usually auto sales, first thing, auto sales are down. Don't pay attention to what the news is saying. Auto sales are down. Auction sites are full of repossessions, right? Uh, they're also full of dealership trade-ins. They're full of a lot of different vehicles for different reasons, and dealerships don't even want to. If you guys don't tap in with Lucky Lopez, his YouTube channel, and there's a lot of, and he's an actual dealership person, and we've been covering this stuff for about the last 6 months, right? These auction lots are packed full of cars compared to how it was at the start of the year, and the banks are trickling these cars in because they don't want to flood the market and now make prices of cars go down. This is why the United States is big finessers, and uh, they like to they like to finesse us. And because the thing about it is, think about this: if you know that you have some of these dealerships, right? And I'm from what I saw myself in Brooklyn, we have a car shortage. We don't have any cars on the lot. Yo, I went to a couple of these dealerships because I had to do some work for them, right? Guess what happened? Yeah, I asked him. I was like, "Yo, you guys selling a lot of cars?" They said, "No, we're not really selling a lot of cars." I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because we marked almost all of them up, and the car shortage is kind of little." And I told the dude, I said, "You got a bunch of Honda Accords over there, a bunch of freaking well, not Odysseys, the Pilots. They had like 15, 20 brand new cars. Where is the shortage?" This stuff is only in specific markets because they're trickling this stuff in to mitigate the reduction of the prices. They're trying their best. It's like being constipated. They're just trying a little bit through to keep prices up. And this is fucking bullshit because people like us end up sitting there having to pay extra money because they want to hold cars back. This is not a Nissan Z. These cars are regular traffic cars. They charge so much. I'm sorry, I went on a little rant there. Sorry, guys. I said I'm only gonna be on in an hour, and I already know it. I'm gonna be talking my shit tonight because I'm really pissed off what's going on, man. A lot of people just want to purchase a car and they're still charging 5, 10K over. But when you go in the back, they have supply. They just charging it just because they want to make their extra money because they know that sales are slow, and the only way for them to still make their buck is to whoever's the person to walk in there and buy it because they need it. They have to pay extra. No, fuck that. Wait, if you could sell the car, you sell it. Wait 3 months. Pay attention to price. Use car gurus. I think I'm supposed to drop a video. Maybe it was today, or I'm probably gonna drop a video on Saturday about car gurus and price trends. Q50 price trends are going down. The prices are going down, and the people I know who have dealership access, they said the prices are going down there too. It's just that the market is still like, oh, let's just keep the prices about the same or a little higher, even though the auction sites prices are going down. These people are it's capitalism, man. But at some day, it's gonna come crashing. What's going on, Sam? I'm sorry, man. I was going in real quick. Roll face makes some clean ones, but premium. Okay. What's going on, Derek? Um. Okay, so you're talking about the Eka Bono, $1,300. Which one do I recommend? First thing, shout out to Zero Motorsports. They make quality parts, but Power Stop is the same thing. Sorry. I don't care what no one says. Power stops are the same thing. Power stop is the same calipers. That's it. It's the same mold. No one has any issues with their power stops. It's just that they come red and they said power stop on it. If you check my videos, I actually have a video talking about I actually converted my non-sport to a sport on my Q50. I bought like junkyard calipers for super cheap. I did a build. But I got the rotors from Rock Auto. They were on sale. I got the sport rotors from Rock Auto on sale for like $25. They work perfectly fine. I did like 5 to 10,000 miles. I got the rotors, the front rotors for like $25, and I got the rear rotors for like 20. Some people say you got the cheap rotors, blah blah blah. They were perfectly fine. I didn't have any rust issues. I did paint the inner side just to make sure it doesn't rust up. Nonetheless, it did its job. There was no warping or anything like that because I raced with those same rotors. And I got the junker calipers. I think I got them for like $300 for the pair, or no, $500 for the set. I can't remember. It was some time ago. But I built that BBK for like $600 or $500, and I end up selling that BBK to another cat over here. I wonder what he did because he was gonna get him power coated, but I ended up selling to him for like $800-900. So I made money off the caliper, the whole BBK set that I purchased. What does this have to do with anything? I'm just saying, like, you can buy the caliper, the power stop calipers, and you can buy the rotors for like half the price and save your money. So you're more supposed to know what they're doing, but you can actually really, I think you get some alcohol from what I was told to, and you can actually rub the power stop off. Yeah, just the power stop part. It's still powder coated red, but the power stop part is like above the finish, so you can do that too. I have a how do you know when the turbos are going bad? To be honest with you, I'm not a Infinity tech. I'm just gonna give you my honest opinion, because if you are hands on with your car, if they're starting to go bad, from what I know, physically, you would have to take off the intakes and actually check the play on the turbines themselves. In and out play, it's shaft play, pretty much. In and out, and then up and down play to see if there's any actual gapping or moving of that. It will have tiny bit, but it will be so minimal that you won't even fucking notice. Sorry for cursing everybody. Second, or will be telltale signs such as you'll see oil, which happened to me on my Q50. Oil was leaking externally from the seal itself. I thought it was an oil line, but comes up it was actually the turbo itself leaking externally. Small leak, but it was enough under pressure it would start leaking. So that's one of the other ways. And then the final one is usually either there's a complete failure from it where oil will be coming out of the exhaust, but sometimes you still don't know if that's the turbo itself or maybe that's the motor. But usually it's probably the turbo, because if it's the motor leaking that much oil, it probably sounds like real shit. And if it's the turbo, there's a lot of blue smoke coming out, then it'll start making screeching noises. It'll sound a lot different. Hey Boost, how you doing? You seem to be a responsible driver from what you talked about, and I'm a young driver phase. Would you love to hear if your young Boost ever was a hooligan? Would love to hear if okay, shout out to you, brother. Tap in with you. First thing, I really wish I'd have started this YouTube from my Maxima days. My Maxima days, like, what was that, 2006? I really wish I tapped in with it, and I should have been on it, but I didn't know. Yo, yes, I was a fucking hooligan. I was street racing. Shout out to my Brooklyn people, Erskine Avenue by Gateway. Um, Fresh Meadows Park. We used to go to drift events. My Long Island people, the airport strip. This is shit. This is out in the Long Island. I forgot where it was. It's a mall out there. I forgot the name of it. It's not. They used to have runs over there too. It's in Long Island. We call it airstrip. It's not an actual airstrip. They do have an airport close to there, a small little airport, but Airport Plaza. There you go. Used to go to Airport Plaza. A lot of people used to do a lot of street racing back there. I had so much fun. And finally, Floyd Bennett. Anyone who's in Brooklyn, Floyd Bennett, back in the day too, a place that you go and do some shit in the middle of the night. So I done it all. I definitely cut up on the highway like crazy. All my Maximas, my G37, 335X, and my Q50. It was really after the blue Q50 that I really stopped doing all that stuff. It's not because I got older, it's because we actually got more traffic nowadays. Also, with a faster car, you need to be better at braking. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You gotta make sure your brakes are on point. You know how much I'll share a story with y'all, right? This is for some of my older cats. Short story, very short story. Sorry. So, anyone knows Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, New York? I used to work out in East New York, and I lived in Bed-Stuy. So I used to go to back and forth to work. Of course, it was a late night. I ended up bumping into a CLK 550. I bumped into a STI, the wagon STI, and it was another car. I forgot the next car. It was another car. But I bumped into those cars, and this is when I had my Maxima, my black one, my 3.5, 5.5 Gen. Shit was lowered. It was looking nice at the time. So we bumped in, and the thing is, there was no speed cameras. After a certain time, there'll be no police officers. So Atlantic Avenue is straight, and the lights will stay green forever. So you can get some pulls in. I'm talking about it's intense street racing. Long story short, we're all moving. I forgot what the next car is. You have three different lanes. You have the 2 lanes for traffic, and you have the parking lane. The parking lane wasn't really filled because it was commercial traffic. Everybody was kind of like following each other. The STI was the fastest one in the freaking group. I was about second in line when we were cutting up. There was the car behind me. I can't remember what the car was. I know it was something quick. I just don't remember what it was. But the last car was the Benz, the CLK. STI went, made the right cut, came back in. there was a parked car in the parking lane basically. So I said, "Oh, I cut left, right? Because there's a car in the middle and there's a car to the left. The car behind me cuts left. The Benz did not make it. The Benz, all I heard was poof. I looked in the rear mirror. I literally saw his headlights turn completely black. His car turned sideways and go in the middle lane. And I heard doof, doof, doof. And I just heard like somebody hit him. Kept it fucking moving. That's like one of the top things I remember part of my hooligan days. His boy or whoever was with him definitely stopped though. Like, I don't know. I guess it was his boy. The STI kept moving, leaving me because I wasn't as fast as it. And I just was like, oh shit. Lucky that's not me. So that's my short story, man. I've been through some shit. Like, I almost died a couple of times, but I ain't gonna get into that. James, what's going on? I'd rather have a dusty pad that stops the car versus a clean pad that doesn't stop the car. Back in the performance friction days, my GTP, yeah, okay, rotors scared people with the braking power. Exactly. I would always pay that $90 for a pad with a high amount of friction because you're gonna stop. So once you get a faster car, guys, like that's why I give the Q50. People don't understand. The Q50 is a car like regular traffic now is insane. Like any 18-year-old dude who could get a fucking Q50 to me, I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Because growing up, to have this amount of power, I would have needed like a Mustang that's supercharged or something like that, or of that some sort, which I couldn't afford at the time. You guys can get these cars for like $20,000, and then you could race like Ferraris and shit with like less than 10K involved, like invested. It's insane. So when you have a car that's faster, guys, you need to get better braking power. Sorry for ranting. Shout out to you, James. Appreciate that. Does anyone have experience going through warranty after using JB4? If so, did everything go smooth? Josh, what I can tell you is this: I haven't had any issues, but these are two things. These are two ways it can end for you with the JB4. Number one, you disconnected fully. Yes, that means you disconnect it fully. If you have any bolt-ons on the car, hopefully like lighting mod or whatever, you take that stuff off, right? And you take it in for warranty work, and nothing's gonna happen to you. This motor's been out since 2016. It's 2022 going to 2023. They're not looking deeply into this stuff anymore. Or two, this is what could happen to you. You leave the JB4 in, you popped your motor, you popped your turbo, and you took it in. You know how much people sent me a DM on Instagram or an email and said, Boost, I should listen to you. I let the JB4 in being lazy, and they deny my warranty. Legit, they'll show me the screenshot of the service advisor saying warranty denied. They said, Boost, man, what do you think I should do? I told you, now you're getting fucked. Take it off. Take it off. Period. So it's usually pretty easy, no problem. That's it. Just make sure there's no evidence there. Some people say you're being fraudulent, Boost. Don't tell the people to do that. All right, cool. These third-party warranty companies too don't care. They do not care. I had one of these third-party warranty. I could actually speak on it. I had an issue with the Q60 that I had. Something with the steering rack. I had a third-party warranty. They denied me because they were like, "Oh, your car, you put suspension on your car." I was like, "Okay." They were like, "Yeah, we can't cover that." I said, "Really?" They was like, "Yeah, because you made changes to the suspension." I was like, "Yeah, but I didn't make any changes to the steering." Well, that affects the steering. So I was like, whatever, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. They try to find a way to avoid something whenever they can. So you see what I'm saying? But nonetheless, it was a rack that went bad. So, well, it didn't really go bad. It started making noise. Check this for yep. As James said, James is gonna tap in and tell you what to do. Take it off. It takes less than 5 minutes, James. It takes 5 minutes to install and like 2 to 3 minutes to take out. It's super quick. I'm from Maryland. Okay. 15. Yeah. You guys can make some money. What? That should be water and meth map from what I remember for the JB4 because they changed around the maps on the newer updates. That should be water and meth map. Yeah, you can actually buy from the Burger Tuning site a meth kit. They'll come with a little tank that you put in the trunk, and they'll come with intake couplings and with jets. And the JB4 can actually control when that meth kit's pretty much start shooting. You can adjust the RPM when it starts to shoot and when it turns off, so you don't have to put it on a switch. So JB4 has all that stuff integrated. JB4 is actually a really cool. It ain't a tune, but it's a really good device that could do a lot of fucking things. Like you could also get a Fuel It kit, which is a E85 reader, right? And install that, and you can see how much E85 your car's running, so you could be at that E30 mix. JB4 does so much cool things on top of a tune also, which is so if you get tuned, right? If you're tuned and you want to run meth, right? You could get the JB4 controller with the meth kit, and it can control that. Also, because it's basically you can stack it on top of a tune. It can also you can actually control, add and subtract how much boost the car calls for. So let's say now you're running the E30 mix. You know that you can run a slightly more amount of boost. You can data log it to see if it affects the car, if the car is still running right. So some people in a BMW community, they do this all day, every day. They'll get a tune, and then they'll stack the JB4 on top of that, so that they don't have to call their tuner and say, "Hey, I need you to send me a map that runs higher boost because I have a conservative map," and they'll be like, all right, I'll get back to you in like 72 hours." No, you put some freaking MS-109 in there, you get a JB4 as the back end, and then you can increase the amount of boost at the higher RPM because you want a higher amount of fuel compared to 93. Yo, but don't kill yourself. It's this stuff that you're supposed to test it out. That's why the JB4 boost controller is a data logger too, and you can see if it affects a lot, like the fuel trims. You see if it affects the AFRs. If that stuff is still within threshold, you're good to go. I think I just told you guys too much. Now you guys can go out there and buy a JB4 and put it on top of your EcuTech tune. All drive versus road drive. I heard the all drive isn't worth it because of additional weight, but the road drive you need an LSD. No, I would disagree. Well, I haven't had a road drive one, but I would disagree. The additional weight is like 150 pounds. It's really not that much more difference. I would actually say the all-wheel drive is always more superior than the road drive. All the all-wheel drive cars complain about traction issues. Shout out to my Florida peoples and my Southern peoples. All y'all complain about traction issues because once you put in pure turbos, yeah, you gotta put B locks on or these super grippy tires. While the dude with the all-wheel drive is still on stock red sport wheels and run flats. Yeah, he's having some traction issues too, but it isn't as bad as yours. So I would still say the all-wheel drive is definitely more superior. Period. Um, and the road drive one, yeah, it is still recommended to get an LSD, but that doesn't stop the amount of torque. You're still making like 550 pounds of torque to the wheel. So from a go, like it does, we have an inferior traction control system and an open differential, so it's still gonna slip. But all drive over road drive, period. Mm-hmm. All drive. Mm-hmm. MD, shout out to MD crew. Man, this is insane. I'm thinking of selling it now, huh? Okay, cool. I fully I fully fixed my Q60RS for under 20K off the auction, 5K. Okay. How do I go with buying AMS intakes and still being covered under warranty? Do I have to let the dealership install them? No, you can install AMS intakes yourself. Period. That's it. Don't worry about it. You can install it yourself. It's okay. They're not gonna ever, because they sell this stuff. They sell the heat exchanger. They sell the intakes, and I believe they sell some other components too on their motorsport site. I believe they have a motorsport site where they actually sell solid tie rod ends, not tie rod ends, stabilized links, and a couple other things. You guys have to double check that on me. But that was some time ago. I haven't looked at these things in a very long time. But you'll be okay. Hey bud. Bear with me, guys. I'm going through the comments right now because I was ranting, so don't beat me up. Also, if you guys want to donate to the channel, I do have a Cash App, money sign boost in motion. Also, if you do want to donate through here, you can do that too if you would like to donate. Hey bud, just bought a JB4. Yeah, you can run anyone's watching. If you can run a JB4 on a fully stocked Q50, Q60, M340, M5, E63, C63. This stuff is used on stock cars and slightly modified cars with exhaust intake, heat exchanger, no problem. It's only when you're making adjustments to the catalytic converters, such as running a full catalyst system, where I do not recommend using a JB4 because your air fuel ratios are way off, and that's going to trip off. That's going to trip the ECU. It's going to confuse it. So, but if everything is pretty much breathing modifications or exhaust modifications and it's still catted, you're good to go. I'm overdrive. I run 17s in the rear. And wait, no. Oh, Trent, what's going on, Trent? I hope this is Trent that I know. What's going on? I'm overdrive. I run 17s in the rear and 18s in the front with the same size tires. No, do not run the same size aspects on front and back on the all-wheel drive. Do not do that. You have to make sure that the front and rears are within the same threshold. So, just off my head, sometimes go to willitfit.com and it's going to break down the ratio. Willitfit.com. It's an old site, but it still works. So some people run 17s in the rear because they're a little bit lighter and you can put a taller tire in there in the rear. So let's say you have a 245 40 18 in the front. You can't put 245 40 17 in the rear because that would be an inch shorter. If my tire tech experience still is in my head, because I used to work on cars and everything, guys, you can actually run a 245 45 in the rear. That should be this close, very close to the same aspect ratio, tire diameter compared to the 245 40 front 18. The 45 is the percentage of the width. So the width is 245 in millimeters, and it's 45% of that is your tire height. 45% of 245 is your tire, your sidewall height. That's specific to a sidewall height. Right. So when I remember doing this stuff, if you go up a different size, you go down on the aspect ratio. So because you're going down to a 17, you go up on the aspect ratio 5%, and that should be within the same threshold. But double check willitfit.com to make sure that I'm right. I have put J4. Cool. I have 3.7 overdrive, looking to add a full motor down CATBACK exhaust. Yeah, that exhaust sounds pretty good. Any takes on adding additional power beside test pipes? I'm thinking about changing plenum for more flow. To be honest with you, I'm sorry, 3.7 guys. You guys should just keep it simple. Get a nice CATBACK exhaust that sounds good. Number one. You could do test pipes, but some people don't like a little bit of the rasp, but the rasp actually comes from the YPIPE, not really the test pipe itself. I would recommend a high flow cat because they sound pretty good. They usually muffle the noise a little bit better. So a high flow cat. You can go with intakes. Shout out to Fox Craze. I believe Fox Craze has built a dual intake system, a true airflow system that sits in front of the car. Go to Fox Craze YouTube. Fox, then the Craze, the word Craze, Craze. I believe he made his own intake kit, and just get tuned on it on 93 or 91 and call it a day. After that, there's really not those point of buying throttle bodies and changing intake manifolds and all this other stuff. Just skip it. It's expensive and it's not going to really yield you much more results. Just save up your money if you do want to maybe go with like a rear mounted turbo kit for like 4Gs. They sell those for pretty cheap now. Rear mounted turbo kit for like 4,000. Mid mount turbo kit to like 6. And I'm not gonna lie, Soho Motorsports I think just came out with one of their kits. Their supercharger kits was like only like 7,500. So shout out to Soho Motorsports. Yo, these guys really care about the Infiniti community. Fountain Avenue in the 90s. Yep. So it wouldn't be in the early 90s for me because I wasn't driving in the 90s. I was driving in the early to mid 2000s. But he knows what I'm talking about. I had one of the fastest Nissan Maximas 5-speed with the white dash. Yep, I know what you're talking about, brother. Maximas back in the day were performance cars. People don't understand. They were performance cars, especially the 5-speed 4th gens, performance cars. They really competed with a lot of cars that were above their level at that time because they were powerful V6. They didn't have as much horsepower, but man, the 5-speed training with the short gear ratio, ah, Good old days, man. Oh my God, the Maxima days. Yep, I had a 2002 Catman headers. Yep, with exhaust, the SLMs, Super AFC. Yo, I had the same stuff. Yep, 6th gen front calipers, same thing. TN S-Tex. No, I did not like the T Coco struts though. I hated those shits. I really did. I didn't do S-Tex. I ended up going with K Sports, which all blue. K Sport fucking coilovers were trash back then, guys. You guys don't understand. I would never touch a K Sport fucking product ever again. And what else you did? The 5th gen mass airflow, because the other the 4th gen, I believe, so there was a difference between the mass airflows, and some mass airflows were weak, so they would go out. Some intake funnel on the mass airflow. Fun days. Same thing here. I had a 3.5-inch intake system. 3.5-inch intake system on my Maxima. Excuse me. Insane. Good old fucking days, yo. Insane. Oh man, my car used to sound so good. Woo. Good old days. Boost, what's going on, Curry? Sorry if I have you guys waiting. I apologize. I'm just, I'm tapping it. Oh, sorry. There's someone who actually gave me a super chat. I appreciate that. Let me just drop his super chat real quick. It didn't show, which is super weird. Whoa, I'm way back on questions. I'm sorry, guys. You think Kings Infinity will void my warranty when they see my AMS catless downpipe, AMS heat exchanger, race box tune, and arc exhaust? If so, does reflashing back to stock save me? This is what I'm gonna tell you, John Wick. I assume, in my honest opinion, Kings Infinity ain't shit, from what I was told. Right? And if you went there for regular service, they don't void your warranty. What they do, this is any dealership. It's not just Infinity. This is any dealership. Any service tech, we're supposed to notarize what we see on the car. So if you came there with an oil change, right? We're like, wow, he has full cat. They raise the car up. He has a full catless exhaust, or catless downpipes, a catback exhaust, and the AMS intake stuff, that really doesn't matter. And he doesn't know if you're tuned, but he sees that you made changes to the catalytic converters, which is technically against the federal law, right? Technically, right? And they notarize it. 6 months, 9 months later, you can pop that motor, and then you come in there and you put everything back to stock. Well, guess what? They notarize your car had modifications on it. They're gonna say, we're not gonna do this warranty. I'm sorry, sir, your warranty's denied. Why? What? Why? Well, previously you was here and we saw all those modifications on your car. We know that your car doesn't have it now, but they can choose to be dicks and cancel it. Some other dealerships, though, from what I've been told from the service techs, so I know a good couple of total service techs say just like this: don't bring it to me the way it is. Bring it to me how it is stock. Shout out to Mark. Not Mark. Oh shit. I'm using the wrong name. Shout out to Sonic Tuned. You check out an interview that I had. He used to be an Infinity Tech. He said it himself. We need the OEM parts because they have to send the photos and video of what failed or what was going on. If you don't have any OEM parts and say, "Hey, here's his downpipe," and it's a catless pipe, Infinity's gonna be like, "No, we're not gonna fucking grant him his warranty." That's why. So yeah, cover your asses, guys. Cover your asses. Shout out to John Wick. Hopefully this. Thank you for the super chat. I'm probably gonna save you thousands of dollars, right? So my recommendation, if anyone's watching, right? If you care about warranty and it's from like Infinity themselves, this is what I'm gonna tell you guys to do. Maintenance your car on your own. Take it to a second or third party shop, bring the oil in, and keep the receipts. Keep this stuff. So if there ever is a bad issue that happens, you return the car back stock. Ooh, Kevin, you're doing some fraudulent boost. You're terrible, right? You take it in. The car's fully stocked now, right? Because your motor popped, your turbo popped, right? And they said, "Well, we can't really do it." No, I have my records here. Here's the oil. Yep. Yeah. See, this is the oil quality. That's the mileage outs right there. Well, okay, and that's it. That's it. All right. So hopefully I help you guys out. Cause some of y'all, I've had so much people who effed up in the past, man. Whoa, I'm way back on comments. Shit. Okay, I'm on 15 minutes back on comments. I already knew. This is whenever I come on here, I start talking too fucking much. Sorry for cursing, guys. I know you got your kids around. I'm sorry. Had some of you guys send me photos and your kids like me, and I'm on your screen and I'm talking shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse in front of your kids. All right. Boom, boom. Bought my okay. Wait, James, will 91 map 2 be fine? Yes, Michael, you can definitely rock map 2 on 91. It's relatively easy on 91 fuel. Anything above map 3, I really wouldn't do on 91 fuel only. It's just no matter if you're red sport or sure, you shouldn't really be on map 3 on a red sport, period. Uh okay. Not right now. Okay. Thinking about taking mines. Okay, yeah. Clay also pointed at something. No one really talks about it anymore. I noticed this. If you have a 3.0 T Sport, check your damn serpentine belt. I don't care what year your freaking Q50, Q60 is. Change your serpentine belt. If you know that you got this car 10,000 miles ago, change the serpentine belt. I recommend you do that because when it pops, you're gonna be like, oh shit, why did my serpentine belt pop? I didn't know. Blah blah blah. Yo, and these things make a squeaking noise. You sometimes don't hear it. You'll hear it around 2 to 4,000 RPM. Check any of my old videos. It's such a slightest, like it's a tiny screech. But if you listen to music, you'll never hear it. And then one day, the coolant's gonna start going up, the temperature. You're gonna start seeing smoke. You're like, what the fuck is going on? You're gonna lose power. You're gonna pull over and you're gonna see a bunch of coolant. You're like, what's going on? I don't understand. This car is reliable. And then you go to freaking Infinity or any other place and they say, you gotta replace these pulleys, and it's like $1,000 repair. No, the part is only $70. If you let it fail, and now it's $1,000 repair because it destroys other things. And then on top of your time being taken away from you and the tow trucking fees, unless you have AAA or something, change your serpentine belt. I said it in old videos, and I'll say it to this day. You should change your serpentine belt every 10 to 15,000 miles. As some people say, you should change it every 3 to 5 oil changes, just as a preventative measure, because it's a maintenance item. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 What are your thoughts on the Z making 460 wheel horsepower today on 93 downpipes? Anthony, shout out to you. Thank you for tapping in with me. I really appreciate you. As I said in my older videos, you could actually check like a video 2-3 weeks ago. I talked about it. Because AMS have already tuned their own one. Had tuned a one already, but this is the first one outside of like a dealership. I mean, a major company. As I said it, I said that the Nissan Z should probably make 480. Should be actually been probably making 480 on 93 with bolt-ons and close to maybe even 500 because right now the ECU Tech programming is still on beta. Also, shout out to Zero Motorsports. Unless I've been told the wrong thing from them plenty of times, Zero Motorsports says the housings for the Nissan Z, the turbos, are slightly larger. That's from what they said with their 3D printing. Slightly larger housings. That's what I've heard from Zero Motorsports in the past. So that could be correct, but also it was a manual. Shout out to Daily Q50. He said it was a manual. Usually manuals will put down power a lot more efficiently. So it was just on lower downpipes and 93 fuel, and I think stock CATBACK system. It's not bad. 460 wheel. But we gotta wait and see. Give us some more time. Let's see if those turbos are really slightly larger, and let's just see what the full EXHUAST full release version will be. And I know they're gonna push these cars anyway. They're gonna push the Nissan Z hard. I'm telling you, in 6 months to 9 months, that car is gonna go through so much changes. You're gonna see a lot of if enough people get their hands on the car, including myself, you're gonna see those cars being pushed really freaking hard, man. I'm telling you. If we want to know what the limits of the VR30 is, they're gonna do it in a Nissan Z. Okay, let's see how much torque it really does take. Poof. Well, I guess it's this amount of torque. They told. Okay, cool. Been too busy building a. Yo, my friend has a Trailblazer, the all-wheel drive one, and it's so well. He used to have it, but the difference is, he actually wish he kind of had got the real drive one back in the day because the all-wheel drive, like the front differential, the transmission would always go out. You have to like build it. Yes, MS-109 is definitely expensive. Yep, I completely agree with you. I gotta speed up on these things, guys. I'm sorry, I'm way back on a lot of things. I've seen uh yo, wait, what? I've seen 300 stock and real drive on stock tires won't spin. It depends. It really just depends on the. I don't know. I can't really tell you that. I've seen 300 horsepower versions spin too. It depends on how they take the full traction control off. There is a way to disable the traction control even more than just pressing the button. Are you gonna get Z? Sorry. Uh yeah, as I just said, Lynn, I would love to get the Z. That's what I've been really saying a lot, but I hate to saying wishful thinking and it doesn't happen because I have to wait in line for that car, and that's the thing that sucks about it. I would love to get the car. I think it'd be great for the channel. Oh man, and I have so much ideas, and I work with so much good companies, and I have so much knowledge. It'll be great, but until then, shout out to a couple of there's a couple of Nissan Z forum sites on Facebook, and people did buy the Nissan Proto, but look like a lot of them, a lot of these guys bought it for under 100,000, like 80, close to 90,000, which is still expensive, but I get it. It's a piece. But what's gonna happen is this, right? The Proto price is gonna go down. Here's what's gonna happen: once the dealerships finally get the sport and performance trims, those gonna have a markup. But now they're gonna have to lower the Proto price. They're gonna just have lower it because no one's gonna want to buy a Proto when they could get a regular sport or performance for like $20,000-$30,000 cheaper. So the Proto will come down for price. It's nice to have on a deal a lot now, but those are gonna come down in price. They might still ask for over sticker, but nothing crazy. I think the Proto should be right around $70,000. In my opinion, with a markup, I get why there'll be a markup, but not 130,000. The Proto should be selling for like 70 grand, and I could see why. What's the best job for no skill to have money to build cars? Shit, I don't even know, to be honest. This is some Porsche enjoyer. I really don't really know. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you want to build cars, you want to do jobs that are within automotive repair, uh, and or maybe on sales. You can still make a lot of money on sales, depending on what kind of dealerships or type of marketing companies you work for, and at least you'll still be in the automotive field around that stuff. Because when you work in the automotive field, you'll make connections with companies that sell high-end cars, that modify, that clean cars. Um, you even some people even start their detailing business. Shout out to this company in New Jersey. I think they call Onyx something. I made a video like 5 years ago. They just started their detailing company. I mean, out of like literally out of like a not the driveway, but they got a little rental spot that only fit like two cars, right? And 5 years later, they've been detailing cars. Yo, they're making money. Just it was just two guys running it. Money now because they were only detailing high end cars. Period. That's it. Just high end cars and high end clientele. Yes, you no disrespect to my details out there, but it's like, yeah, you can work on the more affordable cars and charge less. But what I realized with putting myself around people with these really high end cars that are more into luxury and exotics and stuff, they will pay you that five, six, seven, $800,000 easy to really do their car. And they say, oh, they'll give you a car on Tuesday. All right, I'll pick it up Saturday. You know what I'm saying? They don't need it. This is something they just want to make sure it's done. And they don't mind the price because they want top quality. And there's a lot of money to make, especially in the detailing community. When you start making, you can look into making your own washing compounds and like stuff like that. Like a lot of people get into the part of just selling their own like waterless car wash because they tried everything out and they looked into doing that. And some people built their businesses off of this. Once you get a good following with not much experiences, which you can actually learn off of YouTube detailing, maybe my recommendation is detailing is one of the ways to make not have much skills, just have the patience and time, and it's a small overhead, and you put yourself around a lot of different people, and I think it's definitely that auto detailing. I would say, not to say auto car wash or mobile wash. I'm saying auto detailing. Don't trust my words though. This is just Boost talking. You know, I'm just a regular dude from Brooklyn. Because if it was paid that well, I should do the same thing, right? Hey, Boost, what are your mods to support fully 85? I am RA600 pack. Wait, if you have RA600 package and was on E78, they told me my fuel system is about to max out, so I need to drop down to E50. Yeah, you probably it depend. Yo, you've been around this community for a while. I swear you've been around this community for a while. They probably told you to get a larger high pressure fuel pump because E78 is really high, bro. You probably need a different high pressure fuel pump because you probably don't have like a big bore one. Like I think XDI and Spool Performance, they probably have the big ones. I mean, all these companies have the big high pressure fuel pump, but even then, I think even E78 might be too much for the low pressure fuel pump too. You might have to go with the stage 2 Spool FX in tank pump. You might have to go with them, or usually I'll tell you the reason why. I'm assuming it's one of those two things, but finally, E78, it's probably the injectors too. You're not giving me enough information here. I'm assuming it's the injectors because E78 on an R600 package, eh, those are the three things. It's either larger injectors, you need a bigger high pressure filter than the one you have because most likely you have one, but you probably purchase like the smaller one, or you need a better intake pump. The AMS one I know is pretty good, but I don't know the limitations on it. So I'm assuming there might be you need to go with the Spool FX, or some people even do like the Hellcat pump in the basket too. So it's really up to you. Just look more into it. Do you recommend doing AMS heat exchange along with intakes? I stay in Houston. Perfectly fine. I think anyone in the hotter state needs to get a heat exchanger regardless. If you live like in the Northeast, in the North where it gets cold in the winter, you got time. But in the summer, you'll heat soak like crazy. How my brother stock? Wait. What? So how my okay. Explain how my brother's stock overdrive Q60 RS with MP BRP downpipe, no tune, beat his friend's rear-wheel drive Q60 Silver Sport with JB4 downpipes and heat exchanger. First thing, I've been in the community for so long with the JB4. I was JB4 god at one point, and I've proven everything I've said that I want to do in the Q50 Q60 community. I've done. I said full bolt-on. I said a JB4 Q50 Q60, depending on map you run, will beat a non-tuned red sport with full bolt-ons, with full exhaust and intakes. And I've proven it at the track, period. So I'm assuming that the silver sport wasn't running a high enough map. Because if you put it like in map 2 or 3, it's going to be hard for you to beat a red sport. You got to push it up to that 7, 8 PSI above stock for you to really like to beat a red sport. You don't even have to go like 7, 8. Like map 7 should be perfectly fine, or +7 should be perfectly fine for beat a red sport. So, but if it's from a dig though, of course the all-wheel drive will win because you said rear-wheel drive too. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm way back on questions. I'm way too far back. Shit. All right, hold off. Give me a second. I'm about to blow through these questions super fast. Oh man, I need to get some water. Whew, give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm a little under the weather. I'm getting better, but whew, all right. We about to go. We got to shoot real fast, all right? Yeah, Gatorade. I know. All right. So, no lower catless downpipes with JB4, blow valves with JB4. No, you can do if you have a JB4 and you want to put on a full catless system, I say no. No full catless system. You can do lower downpipe because you're still catted on the upper downpipe, or you can do a full catted downpipe because it's still catted. No catless because you're still going to get check engine light. Blowoff valves. Everybody has stated already. Shout out to Sonic Tune. Blowoff valves are just there for noise. They're not there for performance. They never were there for performance. And technically, we still are up in the air. When they're installed right, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But when they installed wrong, they can be a big effing headache. And with a JB4, you can really mess up with a boost leak with blowoff valves. So no, skip blowoff valves. It makes me nervous that there's no relief. I've seen that the throttle body has programmed, but why no recirculation, no blowoff valve infinity? Tell me about it, Toyo. The new Z has a diverter valve. It has that system, but because it's also a manual, that's just the way they designed it. Cool. Okay, cool. I'm gonna start running through the questions. Stop the muffler deletes. Yeah, stop it with the muffler deletes on the VQ and VR. It sounds like trash. Had a Nissan Maxima, Tokyo. Okay, cool. I'm way far back. Okay, we'll blow in the. Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm. Bear with me, guys. Can putting coilovers only on the front hurt my all drive system? Installing the rear looks pretty tiresome. Yes, installing the rear does suck, especially on a freaking Q60. Oh my god, it's trash. Well, if you put coilovers on the front, why would you? Okay, I'm just being honest with you. Why would you only put coilovers on the front compared to the rear? You put coilovers on because you want to lower the car, unless like you put coilovers on the front because you go to the drag strip and you want to lower the front end a little bit so that when you do launch that the weight transfer and everything's a little different. This is something that they do at the drag strip. That's the only reason I would see why you would install a coilover system just for the front, but nonetheless, no. Install it completely all around. Take your time, go through the videos, be patient, and that's it. Start from the morning and work to the night. I would recommend starting with, to be honest with you, oh man, I've been through so much problems with installing coilovers over the days. If you guys didn't see the Q60 video when I installed the coilovers, I ran into 2 issues. That shit gave me fucking problems. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The Q60, one of the bolts ended up stripping or something like that, so I had to get an extraction to get that out, which I did that out on my own, and I had to use a replacement bolt. But then the rear knuckle, the bushing seized on the bolt, and the only way to get it out is for them to like punch it out. Like, hate to use like a chisel to chisel it out, but once you do that, you're literally screwed. So you gotta order like a whole new bushing to press back in. So my car literally was, yeah, it was looking weird for a while. And then I had all out more work to do to work, and I have a video showing you all the whole process and everything. So what I would always do is start off with the rears first, because at least if the rears you can get out without causing these specific issues, then the fronts are not going to be anything too crazy. Just make sure that you always get the right size sockets. Make sure that you always get an extractor kit too, if you can always be working on your car. And then that's it. Just take your time, man. Things are always going to break, bro. These are cars. Mm-hmm. All right. What's your opinion on admin intakes? Feel like they're a lot of work since you have to cut out some pieces of the bumper. I've never shout out to you, Hunter. Shout out to Monsef. This guy was started off in the Maxima community too. A lot of the heavy hitters that been here for a long time start off in Maximas, man. They all built like a career in the car community. Shout out to them. I would say 2 things about admin intakes. Number one, I never had the product, so I can't judge them. But when people had specific issues with admin intakes, it wasn't because of Monsef. It was because of the welder, and he might have I would say, did a low quality set, and some people ended up getting those sets. They are full 3-inch, so they are properly 3-inch. And he said, are they better than STILLEN or someone else? I mean, shout out to Monsef himself. He's tuned so much VQs. He said it with all honesty. Most of those intakes are trash. They yield no additional power. The only ones that usually yield additional power are 3-inch intakes, like his, and I think Z1 Motorsports is 3-inch. I'm not too positive. Him and there's a couple other people. But he said all the other ones like still are complete trash. So You can either get his or there's like 2 other companies that make 3-inch intakes. 1 month of warranty for me, 1 the belt issue. Okay, cool. Put your car back to stock. Man, don't even discuss. Yo, Curry, I know, man. I know, Curry. I know you're getting that warranty done on that M56. At 3 days after I took it, the month to fix due to the beginning of COVID. Damn. My belt screams, but I only have 15K in the red sport. I heard it's common though. If your Clay, if your belt is screaming, please just purchase the belt or complain to your service provider, whatever you got to do, and just change it. It takes 15, 20 minutes to change it. I have like 3 videos of changing it, 3 of changing the belt on my own because it was squeaking. 2 on the Q50 and then 1 on the Q60. Yep. I ended up taking the belt from the Q50 and put on the Q60 because I was getting rid of the Q50. I was like, no, I'm not going to buy a hole on the belt. So Infinity paid 17K for my engine in my M56, but I had to pay the difference in the remainder left on the engine, tax and labor. I came out of pocket $5,100. Warranty said I had a limit on spending. Get the fuck out of here. What would y'all really would be pissed? Imagine if you paid for a warranty and they said they have a limit on the repairs. That is fucking bullshit. Yep, there you go. I call bullshit with warranty. I would have told them, show me on paper where it says that in terms and conditions. Then I'll be like, okay, cool. All-wheel drive from differential's trash, you right? Big money, What up, Boost? Anything new come with AMG? Yo, Super Dave, what's going on? Shout out to you, brother. Much love. Thanks for hitting me up in the DM and trying to. I just wanted to let you guys know, Super Dave was really trying to get your boy into a Nissan Z. He was definitely trying to get me into one. So, nonetheless, I really respect a lot of you guys who be tapping in with me off of this. Right now, I was actually talking to VRP because they have a discount on turbos now. They have they have VRP 800s and VRP 1000 turbos, and no, I can't do it. As I said before, the car's rear-wheel drive, man. I can go with VRP 1000 turbos for like $4,000. They're not bad. They're really affordable. They're not shitty quality either. And I could tune on 93 and make like 650 on stock fuel system. But it was rear-wheel drive. Where do I do that in New York City? You live in New York City. You know what I'm talking about. It's a rear-wheel drive car. What am I doing to that? But don't mean that I wouldn't do that to an E63 because it's all-wheel drive, and I'll leave it at that. When do you think that we'll get a TCU tune? Trent, you ain't getting one. Shout out to Hussein. Hussein said we're not getting it at all. That's it. All that stuff is done. That company that was working on it, stuff fell off. They didn't fall through. There's no interest. That's it. We're not getting a TCU tune. Sorry, guys. From what I know behind the doors, that's it. No TCU tune. Thoughts on relocating the stock heat exchanger because me and my brother did it and we think it made a difference. Evo X. I don't see why not. Excuse me. I don't see why not. Why you don't want to relocate it. But what I did back in the day, a long time ago, I kept the stock heat exchanger and I ran it in circuit with the Burger Tuning Motorsports one. It added another surface area and it made everything. It technically made it dual pass if you think about it. It went through the stock, then it went through the Burger Tuning, so it had some additional cooling. Monsef is an OG. You're right. Get your idle pulleys. Yep. Change your trans and diff, please, people. Yeah. Thank you, Arthur. Guys, you need to change your rear diff fluid. I would say, because I've had these cars, so much of them, they start really getting black, like 20, 25K. If you have like 50K in your car and you bought a second hand, it was probably never changed. Change it out. It's like it's like 1.5 bottles of a 75 or 80 W or 75 W90. Shit. It's either 75W or 8090. I always end up using a 80W90 or something like that. I always went up a little bit. You can use it. You don't have to use a 75. The front differential of an all-wheel drive usually is pretty clean. It doesn't really that can go like every 2 or 3 differential changes. Well, at least you can skip one because it's usually clean. And the transfer case. Oh, don't even talk about the transfer case. Transfer case is usually mad clean too. That stuff you change once and then you change it like another 50, 60,000 miles later. But the rear diff needs to be changed like every 25. I would say 2025 because why not? It's usually pretty fucking black. I had my warranty bullshit happen. Yep, G8. Damn, I remember the G8, yo. I remember that car. Hey, love your video. Your thoughts on the new Z. Hey Faith. My thoughts on the new Z. I've made plenty of videos on it. Short answer. I think that the Z is pretty cool. I don't think it competes necessarily with the same level of the Supra. It's not the same. They're the same in the sense of like power delivery and everything. I get it, but you're buying a really nice BMW product with a Supra badge on it versus a Nissan Z, which is technically a Nissan. So you're always going to get this back and forth between the communities. I don't think it's a fair fight in the sense if Toyota would have shout out to what's this guy name? That dude in blue in Rady's Rides, right? They did their review. Rady Rides, he likes the Nissan Z more. That dude in blue likes the Supra more, right? And they have their own specific reasons. But as what's this guy said it? As that dude in blue said, he said, well, if they would have just made it like the GRS or GR6, the smaller Toyota vehicle, just a little bit nicer, then put, of course, a little bit of bigger car, and then put the B58 with the 6-speed manual, then he could see that it would be really a Supra. But he says the way it comes is really good. And I said to myself, it's a BMW Z4. I don't care what you did to the outside. It's a BMW Z4. It's a nice car already, so it's gonna be nice, and that's it. The Nissan Z is basically built on a 370Z. It's not the same architecture. It's not. If you had to put them both in the same, I'm gonna fucking say it. I'm gonna fucking say it. I don't care. If you take the Nissan Z and you put it in the same dealership with a BMW Z4, the Z4 is gonna be $20,000-$30,000 more because it's a BMW. It's nice. They put way more time and attention to it. They're not supposed to compete with each other. That's exactly what the freaking Toyota Supra is. It's nice. I keep saying it's a nice car. It's a nice drivetrain, but it's a reshaped Z4. So it's already a nice BMW product. So it's going to be better all the way around, technically. Performance, it's a B58. It's a really good freaking transmission and motor. Just being honest. It's my opinion, though, man. Sorry, I was supposed to keep going through the questions. I'm ranting right now. Anyone recommend a certain site or brand for wheels? I don't call them rims. We call them wheels over here. Shout out to you, Josh. Um, to be honest with you, you can. Back in the day, I don't even order wheels like that. I think it's weird where you buy wheels from. You can buy them from Fitment Industries. You can buy them for. There's other wheel and tire sites that exist. Some of these sites you can buy them directly from the seller, like XSR. You can buy directly from them. But mainly, I think this community way is set up now. People buy wheels off of other people. I think that's the best market, to be honest with you. I mean, depending on the condition, but depending on what brand you want to get, just look at your Facebook Marketplace. Or sometimes there's also shops local to you who can order these wheels and give you about the same price or even cheaper. They'll try to compete with what's online because they still want to sell. And sometimes they're wholesalers, so they could get it for about the same price or cheaper. And then, of course, you'll get the tires and wheels installed at that shop too. So I would always say start off with your local performance wheel shops, but also still cross-reference those prices with the online prices so that you're still getting a good deal. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Bear with me. I'm supposed to be tapping. I told you guys 1 hour. I'm already an hour and a half into this. You can see my energy's going down. How do you feel about the? I'm a bit confused when you said the Audi kits. I'm assuming you're talking about the kits for, like the RS3s, the TTRSs. I assume pretty much 11 horsepower kits. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, really. I don't really have too much information on it, so I'm not going to speak on something I don't know, and I don't know what those kits include. But if you are talking about the RS3s and the TTRS kits, those powerful kits, they're quite pricey. I mean, think about it. You're really spending a lot of money to make a lot of power. Not a lot of money, but those cars are really reliable. But those cars go fucking ham. I'm sorry, TTRSs and RS3s, they go fucking ham. But if I'm gonna say this statement, I've been in this community for so long, and some of you guys are still new. 1,000 fucking horsepower is not reliable. 1,000 horsepower is not reliable unless your car is already close to that horsepower stop. For instance, or cars that have a lot larger displacement. So, for instance, LSs, Hellcats, those cars have huge displacements. They already make a lot of power. So they only need is, a couple of tweaks, a couple of add-ons, some cooling modifications, and they can do 1,000 all day, every day, just because of displacement alone. But for like an RS3, TTRS, these 2.5, these 2-liter motors, to be making all this hell of a power, something always goes wrong, either with the motor or the drivetrain. Something breaks and you fix it. You're gonna have things that go. Be honest with you, back in the day, for my people who's older cats, Evos and STIs. STIs were ringland kings because they always pop, because you have to build the motor. They can't make crazy amount of power. And even when you do build the motor, it's still going to break. Like once you build a motor, you have a 700 wheel horsepower STI. Call it a day. Don't go anything above that. Evo, the same thing. Very powerful 2-liter. Once you build that car, I got an 800, 700 wheel Evo. Keep it there. Don't go any higher, because the chassis itself, the drivetrain itself, something is gonna break next, because it's just not built for it. Sorry, that was my little rant. So we'll be shifting our own forever. Yep, Trent, forever, man. HP tuners was working on. Yep, they gave up. HP tuners will not be tuning our transmissions anymore. They gave up. Boost, would you get the Z or waiting for the Nismo version? I would definitely get the Z. I'm not waiting for no Nismo version. I need to make content and jump out there. I can't wait. I'm tired of waiting right now. I need something to play with. I was talking to my boys about this already. I need a car to play with. Like, I just go to work. Like, that's it. I just go to work and I make videos like this. That's it. Like, I miss playing with cars and doing something. Like, it's pissing me off. You think 30 rolls are best for the red sports? It really depends. Try to make sure the power band is right around that 4,000, 4,500 territory somewhere. So find whatever gear is that 30 or 40 rolls, so that the turbos are spooling enough, but you want it to be enough that right when you hit it, that you don't have to shift already. You see what I'm saying? You got to give yourself enough runway, because some people, like, I'm doing a 40 roll, but they're like at 5,500 RPM. So once you hit it, you already got to shift gear, and then now you pretty much already being walked by whatever you're walking on. So make sure you're somewhere right around the mid range. Do you still want to bring boosted VQ to the channel? Yes, Hunter, I do. Like I just said, there's a guy that lives close to me. I actually had him in one of my old videos. It was an orange coupe. An orange coupe. I was painted and had like an IPL rear bumper. He's actually selling that. Sold on Facebook Marketplace. And I actually saw the car today, like driving around. I'm like, I should buy it. He wants like $7,000-$8,000 for it. It's an automatic. I think it's a $2,000 road drive. But the only reason why I'm hesitant on buying it is, number one, I think it's road drive. Two, the interior is cream. I'm not really a fan of cream. And three, it's orange. So it's in this hood already. And if I buy it, I'm being honest, y'all. Things happen. You can buy a car for somebody today and it's going tomorrow. And I don't want to be out $7,000. You know? I don't want to deal with that. But yes, I would still like to do it. It's just that I know that there's other cars that if I can get into a Nissan Z, like in the next 2-3 months, I will do it. Like I would fucking do it, because I can take that $7,000 and literally just throw it into the Nissan Z immediately. I would rather do that than buy a whole G37 for $7,000. You see what I'm saying? I get the Z, I'll put $2,000-$3,000 down. I'll tell them, yo, listen, I'm gonna get a lease. I'm gonna lease the Z, 0 down, because I have good credit, I have decent credit. I'm doing pretty good for myself, right? And I don't want to pay anything. No, we need something. All right, here's $500. Get out of my face, right? And then literally, I'm going right to all the top companies I already know. Flex fuel kit. Flex fuel kit, downpipes. A lot of this stuff is already the same. This car is a parts bin car, so a lot of parts already fit. Upgraded heat exchanger. Um, uh, JB4, yes, JB4. I don't know why there's no JB4 Nissan Z's yet. It's the same. From what I know, it's the same sensors. From what I've been told, I should be hearing JB4 ones all day. JB4 until I get a full-fledged EcuTech tune, and I'm gonna just have fun. I'm gonna lower the car in coilovers. I'm assuming the coilovers are either like the Q60 or the 370Z, but both ways, we'll figure out the coilover situation so we can lower the car. But they also have adaptive suspension, so I might do like a small Eibach drop. I do coilovers. What am I talking about? And I'm gonna put wheels on it. You guys don't understand. I miss doing wheels on cars. That anyone who knows me from Brooklyn, who knows my cars, I always had good fitment and I always had wheels. And the C63, I didn't do wheels on it at all because their offsets are super weird, and there's not a lot of good looking wheels for 5x112. There's not a lot, so I never really chose to get into it. I'm like, this wheel situation is weird on this car, but I'm gonna do wheels on that car. Front lip, oh my god, I'm gonna tint it out. Oh, it's gonna look nice. It's gonna sound good. Of course, it'll be automatic, and I'm gonna have fun with that. Oh, I would love to. Sorry, man. I'm in my own little head right now. Still have the G8. Want to turbo it? Of course you do, man. Why would you not want to turbo the G8? That's a great dig racing car too. I'll tell you that. 70 W90 is recommend, or 80. Yeah, I use 80 W90 when I did it. Thank you, Arthur. Okay, niche wheels. They bend easily. First thing, I'm gonna put this out there for anyone who's watching. Wheels bend easy because you guys put on very thin sidewall tires. For instance, you get like a niche wheel, right? And you'll put 225/35 R19. Excuse me, 235. 225 or 235 on a 35 sidewall, and you hit a pothole, it's gonna bend. How do I know this? Because I've had high quality wheels, low quality wheels. Tire aspect ratio is very important. Sidewall is very important. It may look good, but understand you're gonna pay for it when you hit those potholes. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather crack or bend a $200 wheel compared to a $600-700 wheel. Now, I understand the craftsmanship. Remember, I had $2,000-3,000 wheels, and I've had wheels that were like 400, not 400, like $800 for the set. I've had all spectrums. You pay more money for the nicer stuff, but then I realized once you pay for that nicer stuff, you want to protect it too, so you get a decent sidewall. So usually, I would never go down to like a 35 sidewall. Like the lowest, like right now, my car, the lowest sidewall I have on my cars is like a 40 sidewall. 40, the lowest maybe like a 235/40. That's it. That's it. And even then, I wouldn't want to do. I would always want like 245/40 up. Or if I do a 35 sidewall, it would be like a 275/35. Like a 275/35. Because remember, the 35% of 275, so it's still a decent height. But anything under like 265, 255, I'm like, oh, this is we're in that territory where them things break and pop, and nah, I'm okay. BMW Supra. Yeah, man. Rather 240 over Supra personally. I agree with you. I understand the 240 is pretty dope. All-wheel drive too. So last take on warranty is it matters when you purchase the warranty from. Some Infiniti dealerships opt in discounts, for some don't. You might want to ask a question before you purchase a car. Yeah, sometimes you need to read through these terms and conditions. Like the next couple things, cars I get, like from dealerships, like I'm looking into, like I want to get into an E63. Some of these high-end expensive cars, used ones. I want to get PPIs. I want to get private party inspections, because when you're spending $89,000 in a car, you're gonna have those expensive problems. I've been lucky on the C63 because I did my research. I looked through all the things that could go bad and good with the C63, and already knew of the misfire issue. So when it came up, I was like, oh, it's misfiring. But then I also had freaking, the beer bug at the same time. So I could not work on the car because I was sick and it was like 100 and something degrees. I didn't feel well. So I could have fixed it. I wasn't playing around. I knew what the issue was. It's just I didn't have time. So I just sent it to my friend's shop and he took care of it. Oh, that sucks. That's not fair, Curry. What's going on, Joseph? If you had a heat exchanger and find your car in limp mode, not boosting properly, replace the sensor. Many people with this problem check your temps. So, NYC Diplomat, thank you for that information. So, if you have a heat exchanger and find your car in limp mode and not boosting properly, replace the sensor. So, there's a sensor. I believe correct me if I'm wrong, NYC Diplomat. There's a sensor called a charge air coolant temperature sensor. It's pretty much a sensor that checks the temperature for the heat exchanger fluid, right? This sensor will actually go bad and it will affect the performance of the car, and you technically won't get a specific code for it. You would not, the car would just not be running right. You're like, what the hell? You'll be chasing your tail. Tuners have went through some of the information and it was like, it'll read completely wrong. It'll read extremely high. Like the JB4 can pick it up because they'll say, no, because the JB4 doesn't pick it up. What am I talking about? I don't want to say that. The JB4 does not pick it up. I think it does. I don't know. I can't make that assumption. I'm sorry, guys. I'll take that back. I retract that statement. As he said, if it's not boosted properly, take a look at that. Take it somewhere who has a proper scan tool so they go through all the sensors. And if the values are off on that sensor, end up changing it. But it is common enough for some people. But this is usually for modified cars. I love my VR30, but those M340Is are something else. Yeah. Replace both Amazon, good to go. All right, cool. Thank you. One stock car moves. Yes, it does. 1000 is reliable in the LS, Hellcat, and Commodore. Yep. Trying to make horsepower with small engines is insane. 30, 40 PSI boost. You can make that with less than 20 PSI on the LS. Well, James, you already know that, though. The reason why you say that, James, which I agree with you, is because it's just on displacement alone. Come on, you're taking a 2.5 liter versus like a 6 liter, 5 liter. And those engines are just designed better. I'll be honest with you. Like the Coyote motor, S550 motor in the 2015 and up, excuse me, Mustangs is insane. They built that motor like so freaking good. Listen, if your motor has to take like 10 gallons, no, sorry, 10 quarts of oil, it's going to be lubricated. How are you going to have a high performance race motor with 5 to 6 quarts? It's impossible. No. That's just my opinion. Bear with me, guys. I remember when I raced a. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get to your questions. I'm just running through everything. I remember when the Q50 you had RT turbos and kilowatt in your hand. Do you wish you would have put them on? Trent, yes and no. I know it's not a direct answer when men are supposed to answer a little bit better. So anyone who's new to the channel, I had purchased RT turbos and I was gonna do a full RT turbo swap within a chiller on the Q50. It was gonna get done, but I ended up changing up and not doing that on the car because I was starting to go a different direction in my own life, and I was like, all right, cool. And then the car ended up getting into an accident anyway. Cool. But that car was gonna come out though. But do I regret it? The only regrets is I just wanted a different tuner. I just wanted a different tuner. Like AMS was gonna end up tuning that car, but most of the RT turbo cars, I was only gonna be making like 500, 510, maybe 20 wheel because I didn't want to run E85 at the time. But if I had to do it differently, yeah, I do. I really wish I would have did it and went through with it. It would have been nice. But times have changed. E92, there's nothing wrong with the E92. Why not? What's wrong with E92? I mean, BMWs do have their freaking issues though. Like every M car has a critical component that needs to be changed. If you go to a BMW forum, yeah, I want to buy F80, and the crank hub has to be changed. People are like, why? because no one wants to buy a car and then have to immediately spend $4,000 to $5,000 because they know they want to modify the car. That's freaking ridiculous. Supercharged or turbocharged? Rashid, I would say supercharged because it's a lot more easier. The barrier of entry is a lot more easy to install. Not as complex. But turbocharging a VQ is just as good too for performance because there's definitely a higher not really. You can get like shout out to Eric Flores and his VQ. You can have like an 800, 900 horsepower supercharged VQ. Just know that you're gonna have to do the rods, you're gonna have to do get through the studs, you're gonna have to do the pistons, you're gonna have to change out the tranny, you're gonna do a lot of shit. If you want to do all right, short answer, sorry. Supercharging is easier to install, quicker turnaround time. And it's more linear the way that the boost comes in because it builds boost over as it goes up the RPM. Turbocharging, you have a lot more torque. You can still make the same amount of power, but you're literally shocking the drivetrain because there's a lot more torque involved into it. So you will run into more issues. And plus, depending on how much PSI you're running, you can literally lift your heads. Yes, you can lift and it'll have a head gasket issue or spin and bearing because turbocharging is a lot more abrasive to the drivetrain, in my opinion. But if you want to make power and faster power, I would say definitely turbocharging. There's literally no all-wheel drive Q50s or Z's and G37s that are like in the low tens. Like all of them are turbo. Period. All of them. If you were a full bolt-on and tune, but if you're full bolt-on and tune, but you put your Q back to stock, will you be voided? No. How would they know? As I said a little earlier, if they don't know that these parts are here, you won't be voided. You don't have no issues at all. How reliable is the VR30? Depending on what is reliable. I have a lot of videos already talking about reliability, but when I think about reliable, can you turn it on every day and go to work and come back? What will be are the whatever issues that this platform has, right? Are there expensive issues if it does fail? What I would say is you can start this car every day, go to work, and come back home, and it'll be perfectly fine. And if there ever is an issue, you'll have a serpentine issue because it happens with time and mileage. It's a part that breaks down. Serpentine belt. It's a maintenance item. Worst case scenario, injector may fail. That's not common enough, but it has happened to a small amount of people. Full bolt-on tune on 93. I've had two of them. Pretty reliable. I didn't have a misfire until I got the Mercedes C63, but I had two Q50s, Q50, Q60, both tuned on 93 and E30. Didn't have those issues. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends what you're specifically looking for. When you add in more power to a car, understand reliability will go down. That's just the way I think about it on this channel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What should I look for in buying a used 3.7 issues? Mo, shout out to you, bro. Thank you. If it's a 3.7, just know if it's like a 2012 and older or 2013 and older G37 370Z, that the gallery gasket is pretty much gonna have to be replaced at some point. That's what I'm gonna sit there and say. Again, the gallery gasket, because they use a different material. So it doesn't matter 3.7 as long as like 2013 and older. Yes. You might drive the car, you may never have any issues, but over time, if you start revving that car a lot, you'll still have oiling issues. And some people even pop their motors. It's pretty common. You can pop your motor when the gallery gasket starts going out. And you'll start getting like camshaft sensor codes. I was getting some of those codes even on my 3.5, on my G35X. I was getting some of the camshaft sensor codes too. I ended up taking out the actuators, or I think it's the actuators, and cleaning them out with like a carb cleaner because it could just be gunked up, but then it ended up coming back a little later. So it was probably gallery gas going bad. But that's mainly it. And that's not something you could actually look for. The best way to test it out is to actually do like an oil pressure test. You could actually do oil pressure test, and the oil pressure test, if it's too low, then you know the gallery is going bad. There's a lot of videos on YouTube talking about it, but to pretty much save your head on it, 2014 and up Q50, 2014 and up G37 slash Q60, um 2014, 2015 Q40, G37. So you don't have to deal with the gallery. But everything after that, just check for your usual things. Make sure that there's no oil and coolant mixing in the reservoir, so no milky look. Make sure the oil is the color it needs to be. No metal and no metal fragments, no leaks under the car. Check the brakes, check the tires. Just take a look, visual things. There's plenty of videos on just taking a look at some of those most common things. And that's really it when it comes to 3.7. There's more, but I'm just nitpicking. If I had cat downpipes, do I blow my turbos too? No. No, you should not be blowing your turbos unless you. Some of you guys, what y'all do is y'all put on performance parts and y'all think this car is like a freaking race car. Like it's not. I know so much people in this platform that will get a Q50 2016, just got the car, put downpipes, CATBACK exhaust, and do nothing but pulls on the highway with their friends. And they didn't even check the oil, right? They didn't change the oil. They don't even know what kind of oil grade they're using. And they'll just keep racing these cars. I'm like, yo, they're not built to take this much abuse. So the turbos will pop if you keep adding more and more heat to it. Any car that has turbos, if you keep adding more and more heat to it, because it's just my C63 M3s, RS cars, they have a cooling system to prevent from them running to catastrophic failure because it's designed to do these things. The VR30 isn't designed for it. The B58, I'm sorry, is more designed to take the abuse over the VR30. See what I'm trying to say here? So yes, you can put cat downpipes on the car. You should not blow your turbos at all. But understand, if you're doing pulls on the highway, you don't let that oil cool down. We don't have a proper oil coolant management system on there. That's the number one thing I realized when I hopped into the 2018 Q50. I was JV4. After I do one or two pulls, oil temperatures like 215, 220, and it takes a while to come down. If you keep doing those pulls, you need 230, 240. Oh, that's it. That's it. Motor's going to go. Because now, short answer for anyone's watching, once oil temps reach a certain temperature, oil pressure goes down. Oil pressure will destroy your motor. That's it. Because once you lose oil pressure, our cars, there's no way for our cars to see the stuff on the dash because they don't care, right? Once oil pressure goes down, then you pop your motor. That's it. Sorry, that's me talking my shit. I was a big fan of Valsons, but now give me a good set of GTR lows. Yeah, GTR lows land of definitely way better quality. Sorry, guys. I was trying to rush through these questions, and I think I did a shitty job at it. Sorry. Oh, man, I was supposed to get off. Oh, man, I got to go to work. All right. Ugh. All right, I have a 2016 QX50 3.7. I would like to make a little bit more power. Any upgrades or stuff I can do. I already have some mods over 50. Most of the stuff modifications already swap over. Like I believe the catted test pipes fit over. You have to go with your own specific exhaust. I believe you can build an intake or use Jimmy rig an intake system. But once again, the 3.7 doesn't use too much intakes, test pipes or high flow cats and a catback exhaust, and then get a tune. I'm not positive if you can tune the QX50. Someone comment in the chat. I'm not too positive, but if you can get a tune on UpRev, the 2016 is probably EcuTech, I'm assuming, but you could probably get tuned once you get all three of those modifications, and that's it. That's the ECU upgrade, a full-fledged tune. Different tuners you have out there. You have Z1 Motorsports that tunes. You have Monsef from Admin Tuning. There's plenty of tuners. Just join any G37 370Z forum and find out who the tuners are, or someone's gonna comment below. When I step on the accelerator and brake, I hear noise. I'm not sure if it's normal. I can't be able to help you with that, bro. You gotta be a little more descriptive. I'm not a hearing mechanic. Light blue, Gatorade for real. Yeah, man. Is there any way to make the blower valves work for 3.0T? Yes, there's plenty of ways that we have blower valve kit systems. But once again, Rashid, I would recommend leaving the blower valves alone. They're just noisemakers, and if they're installed wrong, you can pop your turbos. Okay. Okay. All right, I answered that question already. I'm looking for more. Okay, cool. I answered that. Okay, cool. My Nissan always been reliable. Pop the belt. That's it. Okay. I know you focus on people. What do you think about the new Mustang 7 Gen? I need to learn a little bit more. It looked like they just did some aesthetic modifications and they upgraded the interior to more modern. That's all I really saw. I do like the look of the new Mustang. And shout out to them for still putting a goddamn V8 in this. Because after 2023, no more V8s in the Dodge vehicles. And of course, Chevy ain't shit. So yeah, shout out to them for keeping the Mustang love. And I don't understand this whole electrification shit. They keep forcing this down people's throats. Boost remind me of what year? Yeah, mine was a 2007 G35X all-wheel drive. It was Lakeshore with cream interior. The one and only times I ever got a light interior. I should have never got it. But I had got it for a good deal though. VQ VR are reliable in my experience. My OG4 still has the original battery, alternator, and starter. Damn, and there's still that? Damn. Check the yes, check the oil. Uh-huh. All right, cool. If you're tuned, make it a habit to opening the hood. Laugh a lot. I neglected it. The belt pop and had oil in my BMS inlets filled to the top. Mechanic called yo. Yes, NYC diplomat. You know what I'm talking about, man. Yo, 400%. The first modification you should do to your 3.0T outside of maintenance, because it's a 2018, outside of maintenance, is a heat exchanger. I used to say do like a down, like a lower downpipe, because you can actually feel the difference. But honestly, these cars have they need additional coolant so you can have consistent power. So it's your best way of like building up the car so that when you do go faster, that you don't have to worry about heat soaking issues. So the first modification is a heat exchanger. You have plenty of companies. You have AMS, AAM, Z1 Motorsports. Um, there's a list that goes on. I have plenty of videos on my channel about it. Check it out. You can even put in boosted motion first mod. Yes, put in first mod, and I have a video talking about my recommendations on first mods, or just any. Or I have videos talking about how much horsepower you want to get. So if you want 600 horsepower, I list the parts to get to achieve 600 horsepower, 500 horsepower, 400 horsepower. I'll be looking out for y'all. Even the recent video I did, I think it was Monday, I compared the B58 versus the VR30 and based on of 400, 500, 600 horsepower and how much it's going to cost. I don't know if you guys watched that video. The B58 is half the price to build for power. Half the price. Literally. And just as reliable and or more reliable. It's insane. Yo, pop that hood, bring it home. Uh-huh. Yeah, Bird Race, I answered the question, bro. I know I answered the question for you. You should just get, yeah, I already see your modifications. Um, get the catted downpipes and see if you can find a catback exhaust, and that's it. Some of these catback exhausts already fit. Okay, so yeah, Arthur says yes, 2016 should be Ecutech. I'm assuming. Infinity recommends 5. Yeah, 5W20 is fucking trash. Anyone who puts 5W30 in their car, understand that is for economy. That is so that you can get the most miles per gallon because it makes the moving components even more slick. So there's less drivetrain loss. There's more efficiency in the motor. That's all it's for. The car's not meant for that. But as he said, turbo TBS runs 20W50. And even 20W50, that, you know, I mean, I could understand a 50, especially depending on the tolerances, whoever built the motor, however it is. But I know in the VR30 platform, I've had people who told me they run. One guy told me he ran 5W, like a 10W50. I was like, okay, I don't know if that's good. I'm not an engineer, but a 40 weight in this platform is perfectly fine. I know people who run like a 040 or 540, but of course you live in a warmer area. But a 20W50 though, like that means you're only starting that car in the summer. I would never start that car in the winter with a 20W50. I would be so worried that that stuff is it's scoring the what's the fucking thing? The rod bearings. I think it's scoring them because that's the thing that happened with the BMWs when they always had to keep changing their rod bearings because from factory they were recommending like a 15W50 oil. So people in the northeast, north would have had a bunch of issues, but the people in like Texas and Florida weren't, and they couldn't figure it out. And it took them a while to figure it out and said, "Oh shit, whoa, we were recommending this really thick oil, and they're in cold ass climate." And they were also saying it was because of the material they used for the rod bearings. They went with a different material. Yes, I agree with them. The tolerances are super close. I get it, but no, stick with a thinner oil, or at least for those specific BMWs. They should have recommended like a 5W or 10W, something super low because people in Europe and stuff were in cold areas. You're welcome, Bird Racer. Just called him and asked him questions down to earth. Yeah, Monster have been in this community for a long time, man. Wow, I gotta hurry up with these questions. Shit. In 2014 when I stepped in there, yo Mo, that's not helping me, man. I'm sorry. I really, when I step on the gas and brake, I hear a thudding noise. I can't. I don't know how to tell you. I'm not a hearing mechanic, bro. Like I've never had an issue like that. But if you're pressing, okay, here's what I'm gonna say, Mo. If you're still watching, if you give the car gas and you press the brake, you hear doof, and you give it a gas again and you press the brake, it goes doof. There's something wrong with your suspension components. Something is loose there, Mo. It's plenty of things. There's so much moving components on the car. It could be plenty of things. It could be a control arm. It could be a stabilizer link. It could be uh there's so much things. Like I can't help you. What I recommend you doing is take your car to an alignment shop. Tell them that you have a noise in the suspension. They're gonna put it on the lift. They're gonna move parts around and let you know what has play. That's the best I can tell you, Mo. All right. Don't talk about my Chevys. Oh, yo, Boost, what about GTR injectors? No, that's not the same. Eddie, if you're watching, you don't use GTR injectors on a VR30. Reason being is GTR is port injection and VR30 is direct injection. One shoots uh fuel into the intake manifold or intake runner, upper intake manifold, or lower intake manifold. The next one shoots it directly into the cylinder because it's in the cylinder itself. Two different. The only issues, Alan, the only issues with running E85 for a very long period of time, from what I can tell you, is this: E85, uh, the if you're talking about for the VR30, I'm assuming, right? Your fuel pressure sensor will start getting clogged and start giving you issues. So there's a fuel pressure sensor that's right back in the fuel rail. Usually it starts messing up. So it's recommended after a while, you're gonna have to probably change that out if you're always running E. Um Also the amount of blow by that comes from E85. If you're always running E85, just understand that you should do a little bit more oil changes because the blow by that goes into the crankcase, you're starting to contaminate that oil. So it breaks down the oil over time. So if you're gonna be running E85 all the time, maybe those $5,000 oil changes you should change. I mean, 5,000 mile oil changes you should change it like every 2-3,000 miles, and that's pretty much it. That's so super cool. AMS tuner recommended 10W40 when tuning my car. I don't think I would do 10W in the winter though. I would do 5 or 0 in the winter. I would always want like a 0W because I live in the Northeast. Why not get the most efficiency for cold rating? That means, all right, guys. Short answer: when you hear 0, 5, 10W, that's for how quickly, pretty much the short answer, how quickly the oil could circulate in the motor when it's at like room temperature or ambient temperature. So if you put like a 10 or 15, it takes a while to get to all the moving components because it's technically a thicker oil. Viscosity is a lot thicker at that temperature. but 0 to 5 is a lot better. Is it $20 worth it? Looking to get a I mean, Square Biz. I've been in this community for so long. I would never buy a brand new Q50. That it's the same car since the 2018. I would never. It's like wasting money. And the lease rates I doubt are even that really good anymore. Unless you get that car leased for like $400 a month, just get like a 2018 Q 3.0 T Sport. It's like half the price and it's the same car. The only difference is like the newer ones you get like Apple CarPlay and stuff like that, but that's about it. A car typo. Huh. 23 yeah. Um I'm trying to reach 500 horsepower and torque. Is that possible with VR30? Eddie, I have plenty of videos. Like I said, go to my videos and look for boost motion horsepower modifications. Or I have recent videos 400, 500, 600, 700 horsepower and modifications. Yes, it's easy, definitely possible. People right now, the record is still somewhere around 700 wheel horsepower on pure turbos and like 800, 900 on boat motor and Garrett turbos. So yeah, and of course you're saying on stock. Yeah, people are close to that 700 wheel horsepower. 700 wheel horsepower on pure turbos. Um. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Stock turbos, yes, you can definitely hit 510 on stock turbos. No upgraded. You can right now the stock block record on stock turbos is like 540 wheel horsepower on stock turbos. I think Elite Performance, tuned by Ben Lee, or it may be Race Box with Bonnie and Clyde, because they did an air to air kit. Both of them did an air to air kit, and its cars were on fully 85, and they dynoed right around close to mid 500 wheel horsepower on complete stock turbo. So you can do it all day. But there's people who went with an RT turbo or pure turbo, and they make like 600, 650, 700 wheel. Is it regular 3.0 T same as? Is a regular 3.0 T with JB4 and heat exchanger the same as? It's faster. A JB4 with a heat exchanger is faster than a Red Sport. Way faster. Way faster. Oh shit, 20W50. I don't know, man. If they recommend a 20W like 50, I don't mind, but the 20 part, I don't know. Maybe I'm not an engineer, but I'm just like, yo, I don't like 20 weight. I think that's too thick when it's cold, man. Really? Okay. Well, then yeah. Then if you compare it to non-synthetic oil, yeah, I would assume so. But maybe it's just me. You could do 5W40 synthetic. That's fine. That's fine. Plenty of people have done that before on this platform. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will pump it. Yeah, 10W40, 100. Yeah, it will. Like, it's not like it's so thick that it can't pump a 10W40 or a 20W50. It's just that I know from the engineering part that the 10 and the 5 and the 0 move quicker. It moves a lot quicker. But once again, what we're starting up in 30 seconds, 15. Okay, if anyone's watching, most of the engine damage that we deal with on engines, or no matter what car it is during startup. Startup is where you have the most wear because it's when all these metal components are moving around, and whatever residue or whatever oil is still on there, you have this metal to metal action. So the quicker you get the oil to all those critical metal components, the longer your engine will last. That's why it's good to start a car up and let the oil move around, give it a minute or two, so it can actually bring up temperature. JB4 doesn't really give off your top speed. No, it doesn't. It does not give off your top speed. Was that the question somewhere there? No, I didn't see that question. Okay, James. Okay, 5W20. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going through it. I'm gonna take all my G8, 15W50. Okay. Trans. Wow. Thank you, Salone. I appreciate you, man. Sorry for tapping in with you so late. I'm supposed to go to bed, guys. I gotta work. But at the end of the day, yes, yes, Eddie. If you modified both, if anyone's new to this community, it don't matter if you modify the 300 horsepower version or 400 horsepower version. Both of those cars modified, they're gonna make the same power. Period. There's nothing really that much more special. Sorry, RS guys. There's not that much more really special in the RS than versus non-RSs. Would you know if AMS? Yes. Yes. Martinez that's watching. Hopefully you're still watching. Yes. Anything that's on the Q50 VR30 fits on the Q60 VR30 with the exception of the CATBACK exhaust. Intakes, downpipes, blower valves, heat exchanger, a lot of those things swap right over between the car. When I had my Q50, if I would have just kept a lot of the parts off my Q50, I could have just swapped it right over to the Q60. That's it. The only thing that wouldn't have fit would have been the catback exhaust. That's it. Got you, Mo. Appreciate you, man. About to tap out soon. Injectors will corrode if yes. Uh, will injectors corrode, James? I haven't really anyone complain about it, but yes, E85 is corrosive. It can be, but you know, but meth is a lot more corrosive than E85 though. Like if I had to run my car on E85 or run meth is actually more corrosive than E85. Remember, engineering explained, and a couple other people did tests on which one's worse for the engine over time, and they found out that meth is way more corrosive than E85. You think? Yeah, plenty of people have done fast intentions catback. Fast intention catback sounds good with low downpipes. It doesn't matter what low downpipe you get. You can get AMS, AAM, Zero Motorsport low downpipe. They all sound the same. The fast intentions catback sounds good. I think I even had a video from like 3 years ago. There was a guy who had a Resport like me. I haven't talked to this guy in man long. I can't remember his name. He had a fast intentions catback with resonators, and he had a low downpipe. It sounds good. I think I might have recorded him on video. It was like 2-3 years ago. It was a meet that I had in Long Island. Boost, which Vakasi oil would you recommend for Las Vegas desert? Yo, I would only run like 5W30. We can go up to a 40 weight. That's it. Remember, short answer, 20 weight won't have with higher temperature will literally turn to like completely nothing when you add too much heat. 30 weight will go down to like a 20 weight. 40 weight will go down to like a 30 weight in oil pressure. When you add a lot of oil temperature. This is if you race. That's what I've been told from racers and from engineers from watching and reading. And because I like to read and I like to watch because these motherfuckers know what they're doing. So I learned from the pros. So yeah, if you're doing you could definitely do a 30 weight in Las Vegas. I would never touch a 20 weight in Las Vegas or anywhere hot, no desert, nothing. Throw that shit away. Throw it in the garbage. 30 weight, and even in some cases you can go with a 40 weight, a 5W40. Be perfectly fine. Infinity says between 20 and 30, but plenty of people have rocked 40 weight in this platform too. Any recommendations on maintenance with a full bolt-on TUNING VR30? Maintenance, as early as I said in the video, rear differential every 20. Oh shit! Add this part into it. Transmission fluid change. If you have a VR30, dude, I got a video talking about changing transmission fluid. Change the transmission fluid. After like 25K, the transmission literally feels a lot more sloshier. Do the transmission fluid change, drain and fill. Immediately the car will feel a lot better. Shifts a lot more firmer. I think that shit should be every 20, 30,000 miles. Rear diff should be every 20, 30,000 miles. Front diff and transfer case should be like 50 to 60 because they really don't get that dirty. Anything past that, you're saying maintenance. Of course, change your brake pads, your rotors when you start running into issues. And just check your fluids. That's really honestly it. Coolant, I don't even know how often you change coolant. Only cars I remember changing the coolant on was my Maximas. That's it. And that's because I had a coolant leak. But if the coolant's still there, I never had a car that I kept for like 100,000 miles. Like the Maximas, I think I did like 30, 40,000 miles. And the Q's 25, 30. The Q60 didn't get much miles because I had two cars. The C63 doesn't get too much miles. Yeah. All right, James. Hey, James, do you recommend 0W20? Well, I would not touch no 020. The 0 you can do for the winter, but fuck that 20 shit. I don't care what car it is. 20 weight, why? I get it if it's like an eco car, like a Corolla or Camry or Prius, or one of these cars that you only get for that, then I get it. But for a performance car, man, I'm gonna not touch that. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, yo, MD gets cold, bro. Stop playing, James. It gets cold. It get cold, man. You're not that far away from New York, but we don't get that much. We get, well, listen, in New York City, we're cold from like December to like March. It's like it just stays below like 50, I would say. But now it's been too cold. I'm not gonna lie, I'm over New York City. I'm ready to go. I literally told you guys I was gonna be on here for an hour. It's 2 hours later. I gotta go. Let me see. Oh, sorry, John Wick. I just see that you have a super chat here. I'm sorry. I apologize, brother, because I gotta tap out soon. Okay. When I make turns on my tuned Q50, I hear creaking noises. What do you think that is? The creaking noises could come, in my opinion. Once again, it's the suspension components, right? When I've had some issues like that, the creaking noise could come from the steering rack. Hopefully, it's not the steering rack. Really, let's hope it's not. If it's not from that, it could also be from a worn out bushing. So you have or ball joint. It could be the low control arm ball joint. It could be the upper control arm ball joint. It could be the lower control arm ball joint. The creaking can come from bushings on these specific joints. The best way to do it, once again, as I said a little earlier, take it to a lineman shop. They're gonna turn the car left and right and have the car laid down flat so you can find out where the noise is. Sometimes it's simple fixes, such as you get a little bit of not PB blaster, a lithium spray, and you just spray every joint, every part where things will mix, the ball joint will fix or will connect to, where bushings will connect to. And you just spray all these things with this lubricant. I did it with my C63. Oh my God, my C63. That was like a thing. I had to, anyways, you spray some of these joints and see if the noises goes away. Sometimes it's just things dry up over time. The grease might have been, it's just a temporary fix. Um, but what also sucks about it is if you do all of that and it still makes a noise and you find like it's a ball joint, then you just gotta change it. That's how I see it. That's the best I can honestly tell you. Hopefully, though, I would rather change out a control arm than to have to change out a rack. You see what I'm saying? A steering rack. But shout out to you, John Ray. Much love. I appreciate you, man. All right. I'm supposed to tap out soon, but I still want to finish answering these questions. Whew. Okay. But at the end of the day, 3.2 will make the same power. I think I answered that. Question on downpipe situation. I haven't found an answer. Okay, I did answer that. Whoa, I could go a lot faster than that. Whoa. Did answer that one too. Okay. Yeah. Sorry guys. I'm just going through it. Okay, boost. Forgot to Lucas oil treatment. Yeah, I forgot about that. You could do Lucas oil treatment too. I've done that stuff like on my VQ. I'm be honest with y'all. Anyone's watching, I did none of these usual oil supplements, treatments on my VR30s. I just kept it straight oil. Like I didn't put none of these additives into it because I don't know how turbo cars are. NA cars, oil treatment, all that stuff, liquid moly, all that shit. But the turbo car was like, I don't know. Have you ever the shit with the ethanol analyzer kit pin out working heavy in the vehicle main arm stone measure goes codes? No, Zach. So Zach, I think is talking about when you have to plug in the pinout on the ECU so you can read the ethanol. Now, I have had a video where I didn't install it properly. I had to mess with the pin, so it had to go all the way in. So it was throwing off the ethanol content. It didn't, and also because the tuner was first thing the tuner realized something was wrong and was like, "Yo, check your connections." And I checked the connections. Shout out to Hussein, and the pinout wasn't all the way in. Once I got it all the way in, it was working properly, and I didn't have no issues with AM competitions ethanol kit or E85 kit on how to read it. So double check the connection. Make sure that everything is connected and it's in all the way. And also make sure it's grounded too. I make sure everything was good. That's what I have. But other than my own fault of installing improperly, once I pushed it all the way in, I was good to go. I think I have a video talking about this. I think how much power can. Shout out to Trey. Shout out to you. So he's asking about how much power, how much amount of torque can the drive shaft handle? A lot. But a good amount of people who go to a track prepped area to the track, if they're running E85 and they apply a lot of torque, some people have strained and broke their OEM drive shaft. Yes. So they're right around that 550 pounds of torque. And track prep really does do this thing. You could ask any real drive car, they go through the same issues too. But on the regular street, not really. Thank you. Thank you, Rashid. I appreciate you. I'm supposed to be tapping out, man. I got work in the morning. Thank you, Martinez. Much love. Yeah, here I have issue running high percentage. Okay, cool. Thank you, James. Thank you for letting me know that. Tyler, what's going on? Jesus Christ died for our sins, was buried, and rose again. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, thou shalt be saved. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you in that, man. About to put the queue on map number. Okay. Thanks, Boost. No problem. All right, John Wick, I'm glad I could help you. Coolant is usually every 80 to 100K. Thank you, Bueno. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Because I've never had the time to change the coolant. It's not something that needs to be changed unless it's a crack or leak or there's a mixing of fluid into it, which means it's a bigger issue. Thank you for tapping in with that. With transmission fluid change, do you drain and fill? I've done this stuff on my Maxima, drain and fill. I never did it on the VQs because it's usually slightly different. What you do is you drain all of it out, then you fill it back up, and then you drive the car. Technically, you change all the fluid that you can. There's still going to be some fluid in the lines that go to the transmission cooler, which is usually the bottom of the radiator. There'll be some mixing of old transmission, but you technically change like close to 90%. So you should be fine. But some other service techs told me you're supposed to drain and fill it, drive the car, go through the different gear sets, like all gears, then come back and then like drain and fill again. And I'm like, that's expensive. Like, why the fuck would I do that? Like, 7, 8, 9 quarts of fucking of transmission fluid. That doesn't make sense. So that's expensive. But I guess that's the best way to change all the fluid. But I'd rather change 90% and not spend another $100 on freaking fluid. Okay. We don't get cold like that. Okay. All right, cool. Shout out to MD guys that's in the chat. What is the best top 5 mods for the G37 on a budget, excluding exhaust? That's a good question. Cody's in the chat. First thing, shout out to Cody. Much love. Appreciate you. Thank you for always tapping in. Much love. Much love. I'm supposed to tap out, but top 5 mods, G37 on a budget, excluding exhaust. Okay. Fuck. Well, this is me. This is my own personal modifications. And y'all not saying performance, just me. Coilovers, number 1 modification. It changes their appearance, it changes the handling of the car, and it makes the driving experience so much more better. Number 2, tires. Wider set of tires, grippier tires, definitely good. 3, wheels, because you change the appearance of the car. You have a nice flush look if you go with the right offsets. And if you get a lightweight wheel with a good tire, now you have the look, the driving performance, and the driving confidence. It literally makes the car, you enjoy driving the car. Oh my God. I had my G35X on RPF ones, and I had a freaking what tire? A Pirelli tire on long time ago. Oh my God, my G35X. And I had that car sitting really nice, and it handles so good. I dialed that car in so good. I enjoyed driving that car, and it looked good. It sat really well. Those are 3. You said no exhaust. I would say cold air intakes, full 3-inch ones. I didn't do the cold intakes on that car. Why didn't I? I think I was cheap at that point. I didn't do it. I did that. I think I did try. Yeah, I did. I crashed that car. I didn't do it. But cold air intake's the fourth one. They make a nice noise. I love the noise. They give this front look behind the grill. Fifth one, you said mod. Oh, brakes. Sorry, brake pads. Fifth mod would be brake pads because you're getting a little bit more power, and there's nothing better than having a car that handles well, that looks good, nice and flush. The tires handle it well. The car feels honestly good, and then you have good braking. The best when you go on those nice drives in the mountains or those spirited driving. Good brakes, good tires, nice lower look, good ride comfort suspension. That literally makes the car you enjoy driving the car. Honestly, just any stock car with just those modifications, with just tires, coilovers, lightweight wheels, and brake pads, you'll definitely enjoy driving the car way better in a stock form. I don't care if it's 200, 400, 600 horsepower. Those upgrades are one of the best upgrades I would always sit there and recommend. Yep, got you, brother. What's going on? Yo, Bruce, you came up on them tires when you bought the whip. Yeah, some time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I did. Thanks, shout out to Cody, man. You've been tapping with me for a very long time, brother. Blue blew his oil pump shaft on a Fox Fire for 3 days with no oil pressure. Oh, okay. Thank you. Wait, what? Will you ever get a VR30 again? Yeah, if I could get a Nissan Z. If I could get a Nissan Z, I would definitely get a. Oh shit, there's so much questions. Damn. Oh shit. No, Junior. There is a new part number for the turbos, but remember, this is an economy turbo, and people still have issues. It's not that common. It's nothing that where it needs to be a recall for it. It just happens because either somebody drives a car. There's people who drive their Q50s. Told me service techs. There's people who drive their Q50s and never change the oil, like never, and they'll just come in and say the car is making a weird noise because they never changed the oil. This is legit a thing. It's insane. Yeah, James, I got you, brother. I just got your text, James. I know I gotta go to bed, bro. I really appreciate you, James. I got work in the morning, but you know I like helping the team out. I try my best to help the team. Um, okay, so there's really it has not been resolved, so it's just gonna be a thing, bro. Just make sure you keep on top of your oil changes, and you'll be okay. Um, any issue? Any issue with upgraded heat exchanger? Hit limp mode. Make sure you. Yep. Once again, shout out to Dang. He's right. If you're gonna be upgrading your heat exchanger, make sure that you bleed the system out, the air out of the full system. Or the best one that I recommend doing is you clamp both sides of the heat exchanger system. Use the specific vice grip clamps so that you don't lose coolant. Some techs, they just let all the coolant go out. Why? Why the fuck would you let the coolant go out? It's just clamp it, disconnect it, put the new heat exchanger in. There's a bleeder valve. Then reconnect it. Now the coolant comes in. It's a closed system, and now you can add the coolant in without having to deal with all these huge amount of air pockets. Or better yet, which way I like to do it, you clamp it, you connect one side, you pre-fill the other side as much as you can, right? Then you connect the other side. This reduces the amount of air pockets. And then you open the bleeder valve and whatever air comes out, and then you add more from the top part. Never had any issues. And I did 2 heat exchangers. Sorry, that shit makes me so fucking pissed how people do that. Anywhere I can look for a deal on. No, you're screwed. You're not gonna get no deal on version 2 Nismo wheels. Sorry, that's it. Those are hot commodity wheels, man. Think any pass. Okay. Ported manifold. I'm not gonna recommend ported manifold for the VQ. It's an expensive modification that really doesn't yield much results. If not, pump through the coke on the bone. Yep. Best tire size for the rear on G37. G37 depends on the offset, man. That's a very broad question because you can put 10 and a half on the rear of a sedan and like 11s on the rear of the coupe. You can run like a 275. It all depends on offset, man. I'm sorry. I can't answer. That's one of the questions I actually do not know the answer to because there's so much offset, width, sedan, coupe. I won't be able to. Currently having with vibrating problems on football and doing swap. Yes, do it. Yo block cork, definitely do it. Swap to the VR transmission. There's no point. You can probably just swap valve bodies, I would assume, with another trans. If you can find one, that's probably the cheaper way to do it. But if you know that in the long run you really want to keep the car, just swap over to the VR. A lot of people do it now. A lot. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I got this shirt from forgot his name. Shit, I want to drop his YouTube. Is an Ultimate guy. I haven't actually watched his videos in so long. I don't know if he still make videos, man. I'm gonna tap out, bro. James, I got you, man. I know I gotta go work in the morning. I just don't know if it's worth all the hassle swapping the transmission. Well, it's a better transmission. It shifts a lot better and it lasts a lot longer. Just saying. But if it's cheaper to find a valve body, do that. Nah, I'm good. Past that. Don't buy that branded title. Bronx Mitsubishi. That's like, bro. Anybody who lives in New York City, all these Mitsubishi dealerships are freaking trash. I don't know who owns them, but they're the terrible sales practices, inflated prices. I mean, I know cars get into accidents, but they charge so much more. They charge low for their cars, and you get there and it's like, oh, that's finance. You still have to put down $5,000. Terrible. Thank you, Arthur. Boost, what car are you complete opposite of your preferred brands? What's a car you would get complete opposite of your preferred brands? Good question. I would say a Chevy Corvette. That's complete opposite of what I would get. Like legit. That's not even anything I would really get. Like I like the LS mode and everything, but that's something that I would probably never really get. Out of all like a performance cars, would probably be a Corvette. It's just not me, you know. I think it would be a Corvette. C8, C7, C6 is like they're just not me. I think that's completely opposite of me. Uh, do stock airboxes you said we can't make? No, long tubes make more power, bro. They have more high end horsepower. 3-inch intakes, definitely. Yep, Bronx, Mitsubishi's the scan, 100%. I don't know what's all needed. Okay, so Yo Block Court, tap in with Infinity Brothers, tap in with Soho Motorsports. Soho Motorsports is an actual company. They should be able to give you some information on what's needed, but honestly, it's the transmission. You just need a transmission. Honestly, that's it. There needs to be a little bit of dremeling, a small amount of work, nothing crazy that a regular mechanic can't do, but it bolts right up. There's plenty of information on Facebook forums about it. There's plenty of information from like Infinity Brothers and a couple of the YouTubers. There's a good amount of people, but if you really want to go somewhere who has a lot of information, go to Soho Motorsports, give them a call, ask for Yanir. He works there, but he's enthusiast POV. But they know a lot of information on it. Zero Motorsports might be able to help you, but they're usually a bigger company, so they may not be able to give you enough information. But it's actually really easy to do. A lot of people have done it in their driveway. That's how easy it is to do. You know, if you're capable. That's what I'm saying. C7 Z06. That car is not even me. Like that's completely on a different spectrum. Like completely opposite of what I would ever get. Mm-hmm. I don't see why not. Porting turbo porting. Do I think porting turbos will yield additional power? I I've seen dynos outside of the VR30 platform. We're talking about other cars and other makes and models. I've seen it actually have gains. What they would do is sometimes they'll cut off the edge of the tip of the turbo and weld in like a funnel or like a cone shape, kind of like an individual throttle body type of opening because the air passage will flow a lot quicker inside the turbo because at higher amount of turbine speed, there's always a threshold. So you don't want to have any more turbulence. So I believe it does usually work. ISR Tommy is fucking loud. I've heard Tommy's in person is super loud, but ISR it's not as loud, but they're both fucking loud. Just that ISR is cheaper. That's it. So it's really up to you. Do you want to be like, yo, I got Tommy, or do you want to say you got ISR? That's up to you. My winter setup is my feet. I'm walking to work. I'm not driving the C63. That's my winter setup. I'm gonna tap out soon, guys, because I'm supposed to go to bed, as James told me. Personally, installed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, what? It started and but starting fifth gear. I'm confused. Okay, so if you got no check engine light, okay, so that's cool then. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. I forgot his name, man. I forgot who made this shirt for me. I know I have him on Facebook. It's been a minute. He is an ultimate. He's an ultimate YouTuber. I really can't remember his name. It's been a minute since I've seen him. Whoa, who's the worst tuner in the VRVQ game? I am not answering that question. I am not answering that question. I'm not. Nope. I'm not. I'm not answering it. Nope. Cody, you trying to get me in so much trouble. I have enough audience that people are gonna record this and be like, "Oh, look what Boo said about you." I'm good. I'm good. What I would say is this: stick with tuners that are known in the platform. One, stick with tuners that have receipts from customers with good reviews. Stick with tuners that are active on forums that you can connect with and talk to with. And finally, stick with tuners that could also that work with companies. So I'm gonna just use some examples of some of the best ones. AMS is a good tuning company because they also make parts, but they also tune and they have the results. Shout out to Go Racebox. He's not a full-fledged company now. They're starting to work on cars, which is super dope. But also, again, reviews from customer bases. Love him. Love the company. Shout out to Sonic Tuned. Same thing there. He doesn't work on cars, but he tunes them, and his community loves him. Any Zero Motorsports makes parts, tunes. They don't make as aggressive tunes. Same thing there. And I'm gonna stop there. There's a plenty of other tuners out on the platform. I would recommend take your time. Don't just rush and buy something just because AMS is a shit. No, don't buy it because Racebox is shit. No, take your time. Go to Facebook forums. Go to online forums. Ask people questions. I'm telling you, people will come out the woodworks and say, "Listen, this is a good company right here." And finally, look at the results. What are the outcomes you want? Do you want the specific trap speed? Do they hold records? You know, good and bad. That's it. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you. Yes. Yes, it is possible to run E30 slash unstock fuel system. No, you need a low pressure fuel pump. Short answer, Lacey. You need a low pressure fuel pump, from AMS. You need a flex fuel kit from plenty of companies you can go to for a flex fuel kit, and you're gonna need to be tuned on 30% ethanol from any tuner. I would recommend Go Racebox if it's a VR30. So yes, you do need an upgrade. I get a check engine light. I checked it and it said nothing. Yes, Eddie, if you're talking about the JB4, it's a random code. You only get it like if you're going like 140, 130, maybe 120, and like you're just yeah, you get a check engine light. It's nothing crazy. It's just the mass. The car picked up the car kind of knows you're fucking with it a little bit, so it'll throw a random mass airflow code. Just clear it. It'll go away. That's it. Don't worry about it. CT. Cool. Up rev. Boost. Slim and trying to Slim and trying to set up you up. Yo. Yo, I'm not getting into this. I'm not, yo, Cody. I'm going to bed. It's been 2 hours, man. I don't even got that much energy anymore. Going to bed. Would you think about swapping VR30 and a drift chassis? think it'll be the next 2JZ. So. Well, I'm gonna say this right now. Shout out to Nowhere TM. Remember, he was one of the first people to swap the VR30 into a 370Z. Yo, I was thinking about that as a project. I've been finding a couple of G37 chassis for like 2,000. I'm nothing crazy. Like they popped the motor, but that's it. And I'm like, yo, I could get this guy like $2,000 for it, and I could pick up a VR30. And I just hit up the people I know. I'm like, yo, listen, help me with the quirks. I think even Danny Z got his shit up and running. And then I could have a 6-speed manual VR30. But to be honest, I live in New York City area. Number one, number two, there's not much places to open it up. And number three, just dealing with like inspection and all this other stuff and those headaches that will deal with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But it would have been a super dope idea. I would love to learn how to drift. That's the only thing you can really do over here is get into drifting. Shout out to all my drifters out there. And I don't mean sideshow intersection drifters. I'm talking about the ones who really go to the track. Like, not saying that the street ones are not valid. It's dangerous, bro. I'm not Saul. I'm good. Yeah, y'all trying to start problems. What do you think about swap? Okay, I'll answer that. Yo, Boost, what's up? JF, I'm about to tap out, man. I gotta go to. I don't know if you talked about it yet, but did you see the customer Carzy that tuned and put down for? Yes, I did. I've been in this platform for a while. 460 is really good on lower downpipes 93, and it's beta. So the car is gonna probably make more. And as I said before on one of my older videos, if you really best with me, like probably like 2-3 weeks ago, I said it. The Nissan Z is gonna probably be down like 480, 490, with full catback exhaust, full catted downpipes or catless downpipes, intake, and a heat exchanger. The it's in beta version right now. It's gonna be a lot faster. Yeah, man, I gotta go to bed. Hopefully, you guys hit the like button. Let me see. 48 likes and 29 views. I appreciate that. I got work in the morning, man. I really tapped in to make sure y'all was good. I really lowered my PSI because I panicked. I'm going back to the map. Yeah, don't get scared about the whole mass airflow thing. It just happens when it's like you're at a lower RPM and you're going like 120, 130. Not you guys really shouldn't be going that fast, but it's a random thing and it doesn't happen all the time. It's just the car's just getting confused. Please bring. Well, all right, cool. And no shy show bobs. yo, at the end of the day, people be doing their thing. But James, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for tapping with your boy Boost. Hit me up at Boost Motion IG, Facebook, and boostmotiongym.com. I'm gonna tell you guys it's like this right now for the last people who are watching. I did change my IG. My IG is now subscription based. So if you guys want to ask me questions on IG, you have to be a subscriber on my IG. It is a small payment, but yo, it gave me back my personal time because some of you guys just don't go to the videos. The answers are there. But thank you guys for tapping in with me. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day. Take care. Good night, man.